Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action. Hey, what's up everybody? This is Dan from the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling Podcast channel. I am here with Scott, Lucas, and there is a late luchador somewhere in cyberspace waiting to join us.
That should be a t-shirt, mate. Late luchador. A nice ring to it.
But we are here to talk about Wrestle Frickin' Mania. That's right. That is what everything has come down to this time of year. But while we wait for Rob to join us, that's when we will start with the predictions. We're just going to have a little chat about something that's happening next Friday, which is WrestleMania Smackdown. So obviously there are two matches on WrestleMania Smackdown. We've got the Fatal 4-Way for the Smackdown tag titles. Lucas, I know you've been statting it up recently. When was the last time they were actually defended on pay-per-view?
It would have been at Night of Champions back in
That's
September.
so ridiculous, man.
September. And they couldn't find a space on a WrestleMania card.
Of two nights as well. A WrestleMania of 2 nights.
2 nights and 2 pre-shows.
Oh.
Well, there's talk actually that there's not going to be a first night pre-show because they're thinking they want to do something big to open the show with. So
makes sense as far as fans and stuff, innit? But hey, we'll still be doing our build-up, so join us, regardless if WWE do one. I'm sure they'll do one probably like without matches, though. They'll probably talk and hype it up like they usually do.
Yeah, it's still being advertised having a pre-show, I think. It's 90 minutes, apparently, not 2 hours. So that's something new for them. But I guess it'd be lots of talking. Hype. They could do promos, I guess, couldn't they? So at least some sort of
just some sort of backstage stuff and all that.
New content. But yeah, I mean, I was surprised that the Andre Battle Royal is back. So it'd be interesting to see whether the women's one comes back too.
I forgot there was even a women's one. Yeah,
it was
they didn't know what to call
Mae
it.
Young, wasn't it?
Was it Mae Young, and then they changed it to just
the Fabulous Moolah?
Moolah, yeah.
And then they changed just to Women's Battle Royal. It'd be interesting if they do announce that. I think it's highly unlikely at this stage. I don't know. With this Mania, I do not know. I mean, as we spoke about, I think at the Chamber predictions, then again for even Fastlane, it literally feels like they've left it just so lastminute.com for this Mania build that they could just announce it this week, and I wouldn't be surprised if it gets added.
I mean, if you look at the names that's in the Andre Battle Royal, it just looks like a big 24/7 title match basically. So you've got Akira Tozawa, Angel Garza, Cedric Alexander, Drew Gulak, Elias, Eric, Gran Metalik, Humberto Carrillo, Jackson Riker.
Who's Eric?
The one who's with Sarah Rowe from Viking Raiders.
That's the problem with these singular names, and then especially if they're in teams. If you just call him Eric, I'm like, what? Bischoff, Rowan, what? Like, who's back?
Cantona.
What are you talking about? Cantona, yeah, he's good at doing kicks.
Yeah, Jackson Riker. Then randomly Jey Uso. It's like, surely you'd be more likely to see him later on.
Yeah.
Then you got Kalisto, King Corbin, who was in a big singles match last year, and Lindsay Dorado, Mace, Murphy, Mustafa Ali, Ricochet, Shelton Benjamin, Slapjack, T-Bar, Tucker, and my pick for it, Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah. I mean, we're not doing proper predictions for this, are we? I mean, it's just
the thing is,
no stakes here, boys.
It's like if you can't find a space on your show, considering the job that they did. So Jey Uso, unlucky to miss out last year because they were meant to have the triple threat tag team match, and it was his brother that wrestled in that instead, and that's where his brother got injured last year.
Yeah,
and obviously he's not been not wrestled since. And then for you to not have space on your show for a worker as great as Shinsuke Nakamura, I would have been like, well, okay, so if he's not going to be on WrestleMania, then let him go and have a match in NXT on Stand Over, Take and Deliver.
Yeah, you did it again! Stand Over, Take and Deliver. Way better name. Funny enough, when me and Tom did our reactions to our reactions video on here, where we talk about our Talk of Beans reactions to NXT from 5 years ago, check that out if you haven't already. We were saying on that, at time of recording, that Nakamura hasn't got WrestleMania match. It'd be mad if he doesn't end up on a 2-day Mania. And now it's actually looking that way. And even more so, I think Jey Uso, I'm sure he's going to be involved in this main event thing, which we'll get to. He'll accompany Reigns or he'll interfere or something. He's got to be on the show, I reckon. But to not have a match after the year that man has had is disgusting to me. Really, really bad.
It is ridiculous, really. I think it is really a travesty. Even if they say would have gone with Nakamura and Jay in a multi-man match for I think it may have been, I guess, the plan to do something for the Intercontinental title maybe, but then obviously the whole feud with Big E and Apollo's just taken off so well. I think that they've obviously done something there, and ironically we'll get to it in the main portion of the show, but it's Cesaro's first ever singles match at WrestleMania as well. And considering how good he is, I think it's
long time coming, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But just going back to what I was saying about earlier about the whole big kickoff for the whole show kind of thing, they're going to want a big reaction to the first person coming out. Could we potentially see WrestleMania open with the WWE title match?
No, it's Hogan, isn't it? It's Hogan, the host.
No, they want a big reaction for people cheering.
I've got a suspicion that John Cena might be the first person coming out. Someone like that, either John Cena or Undertaker. But I think
Taker would be too long. It's only 2 nights.
He enters on night 1 and he can be there for night 2.
Or he'll start on SmackDown and end up on Raw.
Yeah, it'll start on the WrestleMania edition.
Yeah, I'm not too sure really. I think it depends obviously how this next week goes. And obviously they announce, because I'm thinking if they were to announce the Women's Battle Royal, I guess that'll be one of the pre-shows for one of the nights, I'm guessing. And I get your points. I'm really feeling bad about Jey Uso not being on, to be fair. I think Shinsuke had his chance, but he kind of blew it a couple of years ago, and I don't think they're ever going to kind of get past his match with Styles, and that program just not really working out. I think that, as well, for me, it's a bit there's already 12 matches, and you're getting to the point where someone's going to have to obviously not be on the card. And they're trying their best, obviously include the Smackdown WrestleMania. It's not WrestleMania on Friday.
No, it's stupid. It's the whole thing stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a real shame, man. I think they could easily fit those matches in if they wanted to.
It depends on the pacing of the show, though.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, though. I think, it's a travesty as well that Bayley's not got a match as well, considering the amount of great work. And there's only 2 women's matches on the entire show.
Yeah,
and so my theory is it's either going to be the Bianca Sasha match or the Drew and Bobby match is going to open Mania.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the same.
It's got to be one of those 2, and then the other one, because whichever one doesn't will main event it. So you've either got to have,
like Lucas said, I think someone like a legend could come out and then introduce it. Kind of like when Bliss came out, introduced Hogan at 35, and then straight into Seth versus Brock. It was like, boom, we're here, Mania moment, boom, boom, boom. We're really fast with it.
Surely the host has to be first.
Like that.
That's what I'm
thinking. Surely it would make sense. They barely do anything else through the night, don't they?
Yeah, be Titus worldwide.
You probably have a 24/7 segment, maybe something like that, and that'll be it. But sure, it's the host that will come out first. That's what I'm thinking, and I'm thinking as well that perhaps they might do a copy of the WrestleMania 30, maybe with Hogan, Cena, and Titus, I guess. That they get Stone Cold, but
you never know. He worked with no one, so he might.
Yeah, look, I think it's a really exciting time, though. I think, something which will go throughout the night, I think a lot of, obviously, the wrestlers will be commenting that it'd be quite emotional, I guess, wrestling in front of a crowd for the first time in, over a year, a proper, actual paid crowd. 25,000 of them as well, which obviously is it's small for WrestleMania.
Well, they're still advertising, so maybe it ain't going to be that many. Maybe there's about 12 tickets sold.
Well, to be fair, they're probably still going to, they like to inflate the attendances, so they'll probably claim it's like a full house or something. Each couple cut out.
Or whatever it was. What was it? 80,000, whatever you can see, I think. Damon James.
Something like that, yeah.
But yeah,
60,
look, I think it'll be fine. But yeah, I think you might want something to wear there too, I guess. So are they on the same night then? The Sasha and Drew matches. That's very weird.
So, but then because the obviously the main so it's the two Rumble winners. One's on one night, one's on the other night. So women's Rumble winner on night one, men's Rumble winner on night two. So
sorry. So I totally forgot that Drew didn't win the Rumble. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, they could go down that route, like what they did with Lesnar and Rollins, but I don't know if that was more because Lesnar probably been difficult. I still have that kind of thing that I think that Lesnar's one of those where if he's not on last, he'd want to go on first just to go home. So I think that's what happened, on that occasion when that did happen. I think the women main evented that year, didn't they? I think on 35.
Yeah,
he went on
first. It was the one with Bailey, Sasha. No, that was the one with Charlotte, Ronda, and Becky.
Yeah, and I just think that's what happened. Why's the view changed?
The view's changed because it's just you and me at the minute, mate. Because we've got Scott's having some camera issues, guys, and Rob is waiting in the wings. He's just trying to get his little setup sorted. So at the moment, we are just me and Lucas. We're
the A-team.
Gonna ramble on. Obviously, we've got some interesting stuff coming up, haven't we, mate? We are going to be going through a few different championships, actually. So we're going to be going through the history of, say, the light heavyweight championship, European championship, world heavyweight championship. And we're going to be going through on a little series called 1, 2, 3, Ring the Bell, hosted by my good friend Lucas Jackson over here. We're going to be talking about our top 3 best champions and our worst 3 champions from each championship belt there. Obviously, all those championships defended many a time at WrestleMania. So obviously in keeping with the WrestleMania theme. So that was something that was quite interesting, sitting down doing that. And obviously there may even be some certain upcoming Hall of Famers that make those lists as well. So not always on the good side, but sometimes they're on the bad side of it. We're looking at you, Great Khali.
It's a very interesting thing to do, wasn't it? When we sat down and we recorded a series of these, and it's very interesting because obviously some of the best kind of wrestlers or the best people you kind of think of sometimes aren't always the best champions, and we had to be able to be brutally honest with it. I'm hoping that obviously you as the viewers, when you watch them, you kind of get that same feeling too, that like, oh yeah, maybe we want something. Maybe we're not though, because I know for some people it's very personal, isn't it? Like sometimes people are fans of people who it's their first, if it's their first WrestleMania they watch or something, it's their first title win they ever saw. Like they might be more fond of that person. So it's it can be interesting like that. But that was interesting to do, and that be coming up. I think on the channel. I think it starts a couple of weeks.
Yeah, should be coming up at some point. So I believe we are all back in business somewhat. So
back in business.
We're just flipping them around so that we have everybody in the order that you guys have come to know. So well, there we go. I think that's about right now, isn't it?
That's it.
Oh, is that right? No.
Yeah, no, right. I should be.
Really? There we go.
Boom,
there we go.
Wrong. It's right there. There we go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That is it. Yeah, that was it.
That's right. I'm at fault.
So, technically third if we're doing the dice rolls. So, which you guys will be pleased to know, I've not loaded it today, so it's hopefully should be a bit more random. Hopefully today. So, should we first of all? Hello, Rob. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm sorry, guys. I was in the middle of having like a FIFA duel due to a working thing commitment. I'm no longer the king of FIFA, so I'm quite annoyed about that.
About to not be the king of predictions, mate. So it's going to be a
listen, I just lost one trophy. I'm not going to jeopardize losing another. So I've got a plan.
And talking of trophies, that is obviously what it is all about, and that is this little beauty right here.
Oh.
So one of us four will be winning this on Sunday night. So potentially,
I keep saying it's going to be on my table, but it's not there at the moment.
No, you'll have to find. Well,
I'll find somewhere for it.
Someone will have to find somewhere for it. I mean, I'm sure.
I'm gonna find somewhere for it.
What in Rob's house or?
Come on,
yeah, in mine on that.
Or my house or Lucas could even.
Close. I'm starting to get worried.
Yeah, it is super close. I mean, like it's anyone's game, and obviously WrestleMania, being WrestleMania, it is double the point. So each point is worth double. 2 points for each correct prediction on this one. So, without further ado, should we get into doing our predictions for WrestleMania 37, boys?
Let's do it.
So, we are going to kick off on night one with Cesaro's first ever singles match at WrestleMania, taking on Seth Rollins. Now, I am going to roll the dice and let's see who is going to go first on the predictions. It is number 4, Rob.
I mean, you're telling me this is not loaded?
100% not loaded.
Yeah, of course. I believe you, mate.
Not yet, anyway.
Do you know, so I thought about this when you were sending the match link. And that's a nice cup, by the way.
Thanks, mate.
And where can that be bought?
Oh, not at the moment, but
no.
No. The only trophy you're able to get is this one, not a cup. So
damn it.
That's at the moment, but yeah, we'll see what we can do. So
all right. So I thought about it, and would they really do Cesaro that dirty, give him his first singles match, and then make him lose as well?
Maybe.
At the same time, I'm thinking Seth is coming back, and he technically he could afford to lose the match because it'll build up to something else. So my thinking is Cesaro's going to win, but it's not going to be like a very clean win. There's going to be a bit of like trickery involved to do with something. But I'm saying,
you can use bonus points or
no, I'm not stupid enough to do that.
Go on, run it.
No.
But the bonus point is how many times is he going to swing him?
Oh, yeah. That could be, yeah. Maybe we'll think about that on the build-up. Maybe we'll add that out later.
So it comes round to me. Sorry. For me, it's 100%. I think Cesaro is going over in this match. First ever WrestleMania match. Seth can afford the loss. To be fair, I mean, Cesaro can technically afford the loss as well. But, you know, I just think they're kind of at this position with Cesaro where he's been there for long enough. You know, they don't really want to put him in the main title picture. So it feels like the least they can do is give him a big singles win at WrestleMania. And obviously Seth Rollins coming off of, did he lose? I think he lost last year to Kevin Owens, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yes, he lost last year against Owens. I think that was his first loss. Was that his first loss at Mania? No. No, he lost to Orton. Lost to Orton, didn't he? Yeah. I think that's the match people tend to forget because of what happened later on in that night when he cashed in and won the WWE title. So, So anyway, enough of my rambling. Cesaro is my pick to win.
Okay,
match.
I like this because already we're different because I'm going with Seth Rollins is going to win because you guys say, oh, can they really do that to Cesaro? Yes, his reward in WWE's eyes, I think, is the match. I don't think it's to win the match. I think it's to get the match because we've all said he deserves a single shot. Look, don't get me wrong. I want him to be in a world title picture. but I just don't think it's happening. And I don't think WWE are going to do anything near that anytime soon. And they aren't therefore going to have a reason to push him. I think the moment, I think Cesaro's getting a moment. He's getting a match. He's getting that swing attempt. Whether or not he gets it higher or not, I don't know. But I think all in all, Seth Rollins is coming back from a strange year, up and down, you know what I mean? But since he's come back, he ain't done much other than wore a lot of cool suits, which I'm very excited to see what he wears at Mania.
The one on Smackdown was banging.
Yeah,
it was. By the way, guys, check out Dan's latest SmackDown review earlier. We were talking about SmackDown and Raw and NXT from this week. But I think it's going to be a great match. But yeah, for me, it's Seth Rollins. I think Seth's going to be building back up towards being a prevalent star again.
So I get to go last, which is usually helpful, but then sometimes it's not. But I think I'm gonna go with my original pick. I think Dan and Rob are onto a bit more. I think Cesaro's, they've got to give Cesaro something. I think Seth, obviously, I think as much as Cesaro is never going to get a main run again, it does seem like that Seth is quite detached from that too. You know, at the moment anyway, obviously what's going on with Reigns, obviously on SmackDown, and on the Raw side of things with Lashley, Drew, there's just people above Seth Rollins, you know, which is kind of opposition he finds himself in, because obviously if you go back a couple of years, he was very much kind of the guy, definitely as a babyface. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Cesaro though. I think that Rollins he could recover from this loss. So I'll go for Cesaro.
So already after this first match, there's going to be a change. So we know that for definite for the first one. So yeah, so what we're going to do, second match, we're going to go straight into it, and that is going to be for the first time in 35 years, guys, at WrestleMania, a steel cage match, and that is between Braun Strowman and Shane McMahon. 35 years. That's longer than we've all been alive, guys.
That's mad. Like, we were speaking about this the other day off air, and you said it, and I was saying the same. Like, I've been racking my brain thinking, is it Bundy? Is it really Bundy? The last time, which is like, is the most common, maybe not the most common, but the most known stipulation, surely.
They've done Hell in a Cells, but they've done a couple of Hell in a Cells, but not that.
At least in the 90s. Do you know what I mean? That we didn't get a few cage matches. So wow, I'm looking forward to it, because it is different, you know, that we haven't seen a cage match at Mania for a long time. So yeah, look, I wonder if it'll be the blue bars.
I was going to say it'll be the first. Well, it's most likely going to be the first time it's going to be like the chain link style cage, probably as well, rather than the big blue, the big blue one. So right, let's see who's going first here. Rob, do you want to just start now, or do you want me to actually roll? Oh, it's number 2 this time. So Scott.
Oh, right, okay.
That's good.
I started talking about it already, didn't I?
It's loaded on 2 and 4. That's it. So me and Lucas are free.
Yeah, it seems to be that way. I'm going to go with a win for Braun Strowman. I think, again, this feud hasn't been my favorite. Don't get me wrong. You know, it being based on, hey, Braun, you're stupid. Anyway, I think surely Braun's got to get his comeuppance. Surely. But then I think maybe my man will go over at WrestleMania. So I don't know. Surely Shane's going to do something crazy. You think he's kind of limited by the cage, keeping him in. But I'm sure they'll figure something out. And yeah, I'm going Braun Strowman winning this one.
Okay, that was it's quite straightforward, this one, really, for me too. I think that it's got to be Braun. McMahons don't usually win matches. The only thing is, it being a steel cage match, the only finish I could see happening, and they could play on Braun be looking stupid, is obviously Shane being at the top to go and do one of his stunts, Braun obviously climbing up, and Braun ending up pushing him off, so he ends up obviously pushing him outside, and Shane still takes that massive bump, and that's obviously the finish. And then because they like doing those, I guess because they have the door as well, there's obviously a thing there where Shane could, you know, get through the door. You know, it's weird because is Extreme Rules not after Mania this year again? Is it still like?
I don't think it's been confirmed at the moment, is it?
I don't think it has confirmed.
I'm not sure if it might be Backlash.
Okay,
be Money in the Bank again as well.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what it is afterwards.
I'll have a look. So let's have a quick look. Go on, you carry on. I'm just quickly having a look at the schedule.
Basically is that I don't know if this will be over. Is what I'm thinking, because when he faced Miz a couple of years ago, didn't he? It wasn't over after that. After Mania, even they continued their little feud. So I'm getting the same kind of vibe here.
Yeah,
so
because it was start as well, didn't it? On the last.
Yeah, I'm even not even ruling out a draw here in a weird way.
First cage match on Mania, 35 years draw.
It's just because it's WWE and they've done all this. People going under the cage, both feet touching the floor at the same time. Someone going through the door and someone going over the top. There's all these different options, but I think just for the ease of it, because it's Mania, I will just play it safe and say Braun Strowman over. Yeah, Shane will probably do if he misses. Shane will probably misses coast to coast on the top, maybe, or something like that. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, and it is Money in the Bank apparently. Money in the Bank, then Backlash, then supposedly depending on. So apparently it's meant to be then Takeover Dublin.
Oh,
and then, that's an interesting one because that's meant to happen. Well, I guess actually it's Dublin, isn't it? So that's obviously not part of the United Kingdom, but that's a day before our supposed lockdown ends. So a day before the restrictions end. So it's interesting, but that's in the UK. I'm not sure about Ireland, obviously.
Yeah,
I guess they obviously have different rules and regulations. But it's interesting they still stuck at that date because they surely can't go ahead with it unless they've got some sort of magic wand. But yeah. I don't know if that helps though. Money in the Bank being straight after WrestleMania now. I mean, I guess it does because it kind of feels like there has to be new feuds.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see either one of them being in a Money in the Bank match anyway.
Oh my God, Shane McMahon winning Money in the Bank would just be.
Oh, he is the best in the world.
He is. But yeah, no, Braun Strowman though is my final pick.
All right. So I was adamant about my pick until Lucas spoke, and now I'm unsure again. I just think there's been no direction. There's been the stupid build to. I just feel like it's one of those. It's just a throwaway match for me. It's even though yes, it is in a cage match and stuff, but that's it. That's all that's drawing me in. I really don't care about this match at all. I'd care more about this match than I did about the women's tag match that we had the last pay-per-view. It's just there for filler. I would rather they'd done that on SmackDown, and then we had the Andre Memorial Battle Royal on the show, But I just think I'd rather Braun Strowman won just so this is over and done with. I think it was a lackluster feud, and there was nothing in it. Kind of come from nowhere, and I mean, either of you three are kind of remotely interested in what happens.
You could say it's a stupid feud, couldn't you, really?
Yeah, I mean, the whole feud, like you said, stupid. I think it's based on stupidity and it's annoying. The whole thing doesn't make any sense. The match itself, I'm kind of just for the match, just for Shane always does something mad. Braun can look strong, and it's a cage. That's kind of it's the cage that's kind of won me over. Yeah.
Something to jump off, isn't it?
I thought the same thing. I think there's a stunt happening, so it's a case of I don't know. I'm interested to see the stunt. The build up, you're right, Rob. It's rubbish, but it's Shane McMahon. You're going to get some sort of crazy stunt.
Yeah.
Has Shane ever had a straight up wrestling match at WrestleMania
against AJ Styles? Remember
that
feud? That was part of the feud,
was that a straight up though, or was that like a no DQ or something?
No, normal match.
Oh, it was normal.
They made a big deal out of the fact that Shane McMahon obviously he called him like a stunt man or whatever in the feud.
Right.
Obviously, he'd only done obviously hardcore matches or 2-on-1s, all that kind of stuff. But AJ Styles claimed that he was always the best wrestler. He was the better wrestler out of the two. And he actually did quite well at it. For like a 50-year-old man, I guess, who's not really a wrestler. But they did like a lot of technical stuff in that match. And then obviously it built up to Shane eventually doing some of his crazy stuff, but within the rules of a normal match. Good match, actually, that too. Sorry, Rob.
No, that's cool. I'm so undecided because at one point of me, you think the crazy stunt, I think, is, as Lucas rightly said, is going to be something like Shane's on the top, Braun maybe pushes the cage or does something, and then it comes crashing down, like the side of the cage crashes up and down. Shane hits the thing, rolls out, and it's like a dodgy finish, and his feet touch first. But at the same time, I want to see Strowman win and just batter him to oblivion in the cage because there's nowhere for him to escape. I'm really torn, I was gonna go with Braun Strowman purely, so then we haven't got to deal with this feud anymore. But yeah, that's my thing. I'm trying to think what they would do, but I think putting Strowman over is probably the better option for this going forward. Anyway,
have I gone yet? By the way, I can't even. Did I go?
You went first.
Because I was like, I remember I did a quick one. Was it this one? Like
that quick, I don't even remember.
I was thinking, is this influencing me? I've already done mine. Okay.
Yeah, no, it goes on to me. Yeah, I'm pretty much Braun Strowman all day long for this one, I think. I don't see Shane winning. It's going to be interesting, though, to see what Braun's going to do, because they've been having this thing recently with his gimmick where he does the train, or there's a train noise that plays when he does the running around the ring. So are they going to have like a train track or something built along the top of the cage before we go when he does the thing and just goes right the way around?
It's driving me mad. I like it. I like the train references on the entry. As you say, I like trains.
Oh yeah, nice London Underground hat.
I like on the entrance the steam and stuff and noises, like when he runs around the ring. That is so perfect. This is what I'm worried about when fans come back. What horrible things from the Thunderdome era are gonna go into, like, because I think we all know they've probably pumped in a few cheers and boos when they've won it over the years anyway, right? I just feel like now they've kind of like got us used to it, that they're going to keep doing that, and stupid things like sound effects are going to kind of rear their way in, and that's what I'm worried about everybody coming back to normal, that it's never going to be the same for us ever again, that we are going to have crap like that and they're going to get away with it.
It's literally just occurred to me what could happen. Braun could do that and then do the when he does the, I don't know what it's called, like the pounce type thing to Shane through the cage.
Yeah, and Shane wins by that, yeah.
And that could be, or it could be one of those where was it Brock and
Roman when they went through the cage together.
But then didn't hit the floor,
Paul White, as he was known then and now, throwing Austin into the cage. And getting inside onto
that cheap toy cage.
Yeah, so it could be something like along those lines. But either way, I think Braun Strowman is going to come out of this with the W at WrestleMania.
Putting some WWE title, I was like, what?
Nah. With the W and
just one W, okay, cool.
Yeah, and I don't think he's going to look stupid in doing it either. So there we go. And hopefully Shane comes out of the match healthy and not with any like injuries like he did the last time he was in some kind of cage structure at WrestleMania against The Undertaker. So now we're going to move on to a match that at time of recording is a singles match, and that is between Bad Bunny and The Miz. There is obviously talk that this match was originally scheduled to be Bad Bunny teaming with Damian Priest to take on The Miz and John Morrison. Priest and Morrison are both carrying very slight injuries, so apparently what they are doing is delaying the full announcement of that until as late as possible. I'm pretty sure, though, if they were going to change it, we would have heard by now, considering that Raw has already been taped for next week. So I'm sure, because I mean, I'm sure there would have been something at least come out about it. But at time of recording, there is no official announcement. For me, though, I'll be honest, it would not have affected what I would say either way, regardless of whether they were in the match or not. So let's roll the dice and see who is going first this time. It's number 2, so Scott, again.
I don't want to get upset about Bunny's winning. I think it's quite a straightforward one for me again. I just don't see why you bring the celebrity in if you don't raise his hand at the end of it. So that's going to be the moment. Bad Bunny's won the match, and The Miz looks silly, and we carry on as normal.
Would you change your pick if it did become a tag match?
No, because I can even still see the highlight reel of Damian Priest and Bad Bunny holding their arms up together. So that's exactly how I see it going either way. So Bad Bunny's winning it. I'm not opposed to it either, by the way. I just think it's
makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a shame, obviously, for Miz to go from WWE champion to losing to a celebrity in a month. But this is the world of WWE that we live in, of course. yeah, like he's too big a name to kind of risk. And the thing is, he seems to have been showing some real interest in potentially actually wrestling. So it is a case of, but you don't know if that's a case of like, well, he's interested because obviously it's Mania, and obviously after Mania, off he go and do his new album and new tours, etc. But I think even if Damian Priest and John Morrison are in the match, or they're not, like I think the results are the same. It's Bad Bunny over. I think that they might do a thing where perhaps, obviously, Morrison, even if it is a singles match, I guess, because it's weird when they say someone's got a minor injury, like they had obviously Jimmy Uso get involved inside Hell in a Cell and take the guillotine off Roman, so it depends what injury it is, I guess. But I can see Morrison kind of coming out and maybe Priest is obviously stopping him. That might be their involvement, in the match, or even a referee bump or distraction or something, leading to Morrison kind of getting involved and Damian Priest coming out and there being a bit of a smoz. And then I don't know what I can't remember a single thing Damian Priest has ever done, to be fair. But if he has a finisher, I'm assuming he does, then he could hit that on the Miz, and then Bad Bunny, I don't know, he can do like a splash or something. So it at least lessens the impact. So at least Miz would have lost to essentially Damian Priest's move and someone else's move, which I think that's the direction I would have gone in had it been a tag match. But if it's a tag match, it'd be Morrison getting pinned for sure, because Morrison's not allowed to win a match like ever. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
Yeah. So I think Bad Bunny is going to win. Kind of similar to what you were saying, Lucas. Whether it be if it was a tag match or not, I think something will happen in order for Damian Priest basically to do his finisher, and then Bad Bunny can like either take the pin or he'll do like a splash or like a bunny hop, whatever you want to call it. Like if they don't credit that as a move and do it like just a splash, call it the bunny hop. I don't know what they're doing. But yeah, so basically he'll do that and then he'll be victorious. I don't understand how they'd push it this long and then have Bunny lose.
He's been around this since the Rumble. Yeah, it's had a longer build than most of the cards.
Longer build than the Shane and Braun Strowman.
Yeah, and a better build, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if he doesn't win, I'll be very, very shocked. So yeah, I'm going Bad Bunny.
And quite possibly one of the longest reigning 24/7 champions in history as well.
That's not a bad thing to have on your resume.
No. But yeah, so for me, it's got to be Bad Bunny, I think, all the way for this one. Like you all said, there's no point in bringing a celebrity in just to have them lose at WrestleMania. I'm not sure has there been a celebrity that's lost at Mania?
I don't recall.
Probably not.
It's like they're probably thinking, why am I going to show up just to lose?
Kevin Federline won at Mania, so this
not Mania. It was.
Was it not a Mania?
I was going to say it's not Mania.
When that on Raw or something?
Yeah.
Was it Raw?
Yeah. Because obviously they had Floyd Mayweather beating the Big Show.
Yeah. Lawrence Taylor beat Bam Bam.
Snooki, yeah. Snooki was in that one.
And then Vander Holyfield was around as well. Didn't he beat MVP? Was that a Mania?
No, I think that was a SmackDown, wasn't it?
That's a SmackDown.
Oh, I can't remember. There's been too many celebrities around that era.
the amount of the things they just throw away on TV
what
as
about
well.
Akebono? Did he beat
Akebono?
I can't remember.
Yeah, Akebono won. Yeah, I had a pleasure of having to rewatch that match again recently.
The bit in where who is it that has the little slip?
Akebono, I think.
With his Akebono.
Yeah.
It's still in.
Was it the Akebono or the Big Shower? Oh man.
But yeah, so I mean, as I say, so for me, Bad Bunny all the way for this one. It would not have changed my mind. If it does become a tag match, then my prediction would remain exactly the same. So I just think he's done some decent stuff though since he's been there. At least he's been there and he's got a little bit like physical. So he's actually built up a story, and as you said, it's been one of the most like. So far, out of the 3 matches we've predicted, it's been the most built-up story. And I include the next match in that as well that we're about to predict. And that is the long-running feud between The New Day and AJ Styles and Omos. So this match obviously being Omos's in-ring debut, teaming with AJ Styles to take on the New Day for the Tag Team Championships. Sorry, the Raw Tag Team Championships, that is. Obviously, the SmackDown ones don't get defended on pay-per-views unless they're called Night of Champions, and they have to. So let's see who's going first this time. Is it Scott or Rob again? It's neither, actually. It's number 3 this time. So, Lucas, you are going first.
Okay. Your dice isn't broken. Okay.
No. It's not stuck on even numbers, no.
Yeah. This is annoying because we spoke about the tag division for both the men and the women, to be fair, so many times in here. But it's frustrating that obviously we find ourselves in this position. A year after they released half of the, best tag teams kind of in the world, and they've gone on to have obviously phenomenal success elsewhere. And I mean, Triple H has been kind of vague. He did a press call this week regarding obviously Omos's debut. And he kind of said that Omos is a sponge and he's willing and ready to learn from anyone, which I guess he has to sell his guy, I guess, but I don't know. I'm not too sure what to expect from him because all we've seen him do bits and pieces is obviously with AJ Styles. What we can say, he's definitely in the ring with obviously three of the best people to be in the ring with, I think, in terms of tag team action as well. Obviously, the New Day, obviously, the most decorated WWE tag team. I think it's quite obvious that Omos and AJ are winning because I guess they only just took the belts off the Hurt Business, the New Day, but I don't see why or how you could really have Omos lose without him looking completely stupid.
Unless he turns on AJ, that's the only.
Yes, that's only. But I don't know why. Well, it's WWE, so he could, I guess, but I don't know why he'd do that. But yeah, he joins an interesting club of people to debut at WrestleMania. The person being Fandango, of course, most recently. He debuted against Chris Jericho and he won. So I will therefore say
I was there for that one.
That song got into the UK single charts, didn't it? It was in the top 75. But yeah, I'll go with AJ and Omos winning. And I'm just looking forward to see. Everything about Omos interests me with this. It's just like, what is he going to wear?
I was just going to say the same thing. Yeah, what's his attire?
It gets that, obviously when you're that size, like it is like, I guess it's all custom. It's all, it's all made for you. And I don't know what he's going to wear, what he's going to do. I expect him to be very slow. I guess, especially because he's a former basketball player, isn't he? So he's probably got bad knees.
Watch him have like Rey Mysterio's moveset now.
But yeah, it's frustrating that obviously SmackDown tags aren't making it onto WrestleMania because they've obviously built up some actual little teams there, which obviously aren't to the levels that we've had before. But you don't get, you can't get them to that level if they're not treated that level, and treating them like they're on that they're only good for the pre-show. Essentially, that's what the SmackDown thing is. It's before the pre-show even. I don't think that's a good thing, but hey ho. AJ and Omos to win.
Yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet. AJ and Omos are winning. That I don't understand why they wouldn't. The New Day can literally take a loss, bounce back the next day, and throw pancakes, or bring out a new cereal, and they'll be absolutely fine. Talk about it on their podcast for a little while, and then win the titles again a couple of weeks later. So the New Day are good. Omos though, I think benefiting. Bearing in mind, a lot of people got sent back to the Performance Center, which I don't understand why. Keith Lee was one of them, crying out loud. I don't know why they made that decision, but Omos, I think there's going to be something about him that will cause the win for them. Either it'll be him throwing AJ or accidentally doing something and then they get in the pinfall. I don't think it'll be him doing something on purpose. I think it'll be an accident, which will cause them to have the win. And if I'm right, that'll make AJ a Grand Slam champion, right?
I see.
Yeah, WWE. IC, US, WWE tag team, yeah?
Yes, I think, yeah. So
wait till he becomes 24/7 champion, mate.
But yeah, I'll go AJ and Omos. And to solidify it, I've even got an AJ top on.
Oh, mate. You really mean business.
Of course I do, yeah.
So now comes down to me. Yeah, I think AJ and Omos pretty much all day long. Looks like Omos is going to be using the same finisher really that the Great Khali used. I don't know what they like the Baldo bomb thing where choke bomb, whatever it's actually called.
You mean Hall of Famer Great Khali? Come on.
Yeah, the Hall of Famer, the Great Khali. Yeah, of 2021 class, not 2020 class. But yeah, so it seems like he's using that as his finisher. But I'm hoping that we see some kind of like springboard 450 splash for him to finish the match with. But
imagine if it ends up being like a Mizdow. Just copying AJ Styles' moves.
Just finished like phenomenal forearm. Can you imagine how
he would be able to jump out of Raymond James with it, couldn't he?
Probably, yeah. How high he is, yeah.
Just pull that down.
Yeah, it'd be like the Smackdown fist coming down on you. But yeah, I think for me, as Rob said, New Day can afford to take the loss. AJ and Omos all day long, and I think Kofi's probably going to look at it as like, well, we had his WrestleMania moment that we were there for 35. Last year, I think was Kofi the one who was in representing the New Day last year? Was it the? I think it might were they part of the tag? Was it because I think the tag match was it the one that Jimmy Uso was in?
Morrison.
There was just one of each player, wasn't it?
Was it?
I think it was Kofi.
I think it was Kofi last year as well. So yeah, it'd be interesting. I think this year he's fighting for the tag titles again, because I know people made a big deal of it last year. The fact that why is he only wrestling for the tag titles when he was WWE champion like a year previous? But yeah, I don't think it's going to hurt the New Day to take the loss here. Obviously, if you're going to build up Omos in the tag division with AJ, there's going to be no better person for him to learn from than AJ Styles. Probably the best in-ring wrestler in WWE at the moment. People could argue one way or the other, but AJ could get in there with someone that's not had any wrestling experience and drag a good match out of them. That's how highly I rate AJ Styles in the ring. So for me, AJ and Omos, WrestleMania, Raw Tag Team Champions, done.
Okay, right. So I think I'm like you guys. I'm going to go quick with it. Exactly that. AJ and Omos. I'm a bit intrigued by this whole potential turn from Omos, because they've been playing that kind of thing of like do they really know each other? Like, I've enjoyed that part of the feud. I think it's been built up too short, and it's clearly to me it's a transitional thing. Like it's the New Day. They're there to actually lose the titles so that the Hurt Business didn't lose them, sort of thing, straight to another heel team. So yeah, I think it's going to be AJ and Omos, and yeah, I don't think it, like Rob said, I don't think it hurts the New Day, and I'm excited to see what Omos is going to be like in the ring, and I like their chemistry together. They're funny, so it made me laugh. Thumbs up. So yeah, give them the belts.
So then, talking of belts, we have the Raw, not the Raw. We have the SmackDown Women's Championship. The Royal Rumble winner, Bianca Belair, taking on the boss, Sasha Banks. So let's see who goes first for this one. We have number one. That is myself, which is very annoying because this is probably, this is one of the only ones that I hadn't already kind of in my head locked my answer in for.
I haven't thought about this at all.
This was one where I was kind of hoping everyone else was going to go before me. So let's see. For me, I think Bianca Belair is coming out of this as the SmackDown Women's Champion. I think it seems like they've invested too much in her for it. The only way I can see her not coming out of it with a title is if there is some kind of screwy finish, but I don't see that happening. Bianca obviously winning the Royal Rumble. I think it'd just be, for me, it'd be, I think, a bigger shock if she doesn't win it. actually than if she does. And we spoke about it. Rob, you might not necessarily have known this, but before you came on, we spoke about the fact that we reckon either this match or the WWE title match could actually open WrestleMania as that big feel good moment for the fans. So either Bianca's music is the first to hit or Drew's is the first to hit, and that's the first thing that the fans are gonna hear when they obviously when the first entrance happens. And then obviously you're thinking, if it's that first match, if it is the first match of the night, Bianca having a hand raised after all the hard work she's put in would be a really nice way, I think, to
feel good.
Either end WrestleMania or end the first match.
Depending which one is the.
Yeah, well, if it is that, it might not even be that. It could be any of the matches, but I do think, for fan reaction, I think it may well be. I honestly think it's more going to be Lashley Drew opening the show and Drew being the first person whose music hits. Actually,
I think Bianca's still a bit in the woods. I think people, the smarter fans might not know what woods. They have no way of knowing how they're going to react to her, I guess.
Mm.
Yeah, so for me, as I say, I think Bianca Belair is going to come out of it as SmackDown Women's Champion.
Like you, Dan, I wish I was going last on this one.
Tricky, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, because I agree. I think they've invested quite a lot in her, and I think Bianca Belair, and it just feels right. But I don't know, the past week or so, I started to think, what if they don't? The Rumble winner doesn't always win, so I could feel that maybe between the Rumble and now, maybe they got cold feet and thought, okay. Because you got to think, when they tell them you're winning the Rumble, do they also tell them you're winning the title Mania? Sometimes they must have the story already. Sometimes they might just think, we're going to put you in a position, but we don't know if we're going to give you the full thing. So it must be weird being told you win the Rumble, but you ain't win the title. I imagine that happens sometimes. With this one, though, I think between then and now, she's done exactly what she needs to do. The storylines in between, it was ridiculous. The way it took so long to amp up into, her versus her, basically, rather than the stupid tag storylines they were going with, was ridiculous. But I think her role has been done well. That promo, I think, on SmackDown last week, backstage, just before she went out in Gorilla, was great. I thought it was fantastic. I just feel like she's getting better and better. And if WWE looking at the way that I'm looking at it, give Bianca Belair the title. So, yeah, I'm going to go Bianca Belair, I think, over. I do have that weird feeling that Sasha hasn't had much going on lately, but then again, this has been a fairly long title reign by her standards, by the way they treated her in the past. So, I could see it being seen as that, and therefore, there we go, pass the torch sort of thing to Bianca Belair in some ways.
And we've got JVDB in the chat who says the exact same thing, Bianca Belair all day. And apparently, Sasha Banks has said that she is main event in the first night. So looks like then it could, if that's true, it could well be then Drew and Bobby opening the show.
Yeah, I had a feeling the women would go last on one night. I thought that would make better sense, I guess. So the Rumble winners go last on each night, I guess, as we get to way later on with obviously that. Yeah. I think Bianca's got to win. I'm going back to last year. Both Rumble winners were successful. Being Drew and Charlotte. In the couple of years before that, again, both Rumble winners were successful in doing that. In that being Seth and Becky. And the year before that, both failed, being Asuka and Shinsuke. So, well, we'll get to it later on because, we'll get to later on what I think will happen with the other Rumble winner. But I think Bianca has got this. I think it's the right decision too. Yeah, it's the right decision also, and I guess if it is the main event though, I don't know where that source has come from. I'm not too sure. That's something she said on Twitter, I'm guessing, but they also change things last minute as well. Yeah. On your point though, I'd like to think that they wouldn't tell the person to win the belt at Mania after in the Rumble. As we know, this period has been the longest period known to man. Especially when they throw
it could hit the performance, couldn't it?
Yeah. SmackDown WrestleManias in the middle of all this. I'd like to think they wouldn't tell someone in January, yes, to win the title.
It honestly wouldn't surprise me if Vince made his mind up on the night.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, I've heard something today regarding the Rollins cash in at Mania. That was decided, during about an hour before, during the Rock and Ronda segment.
It was such a big moment as well. So
they pulled Michael Hayes, an emergency thing. Michael Hayes pulled all the guys aside and said, "This is what we're doing." They didn't want to put the belt onto Reigns. They didn't want the show ending in boos.
That's another man with a very strong suit game.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe him and Seth and even Omos, to be fair, and he's is he in his mauve recently? Seen him on Twitter on his mauve. Maybe we'll lead into a fashion show or something. Anyway, I digress.
The Hurt Business as well. They
had a karaoke segment, so why not a fashion show?
So I'll go with Bianca to win.
I'm really glad that I'm last.
You lucky git.
I know, I love this. So there's either one or two things going to happen. So I would love Belair to win. I really would, but I think she's going to take an L, but she's going to win the Money in the Bank and chase Sasha.
Yeah, but to go straight back into the same feud.
Yeah, why not?
All right.
I mean, what? Who else right now could win the Money in the Bank and technically go? Who else would win?
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess you kind of want heel titles as well, don't you? If you're going to cash in soon anyway, that's a factor.
Yeah, but I mean, it's one of those things where even if she loses, it could be one of those Bianca wins but doesn't win the title. It's won by a DQ. That way, she gets her win at Mania. Sasha's still champion, and now she's like, there's a reason for her to go and push her in Money in the Bank. Because
I guess it heals up Sasha a bit more as well.
Yeah.
Bonus point.
I'm not bonus pointing it, but I'm saying Sasha's winning.
So you're locking in Sasha as so.
Are you sure you don't want a bonus point, Rob?
You're seeing how close it is. So wait, are we doing?
It might help you, mate.
Are we doing it as a bonus point, or would the bonus point also be doubled on this one?
Oh, that's too much.
That's too much. So it'll still be a singular bonus point.
I'm not bonus pointing.
He's not doing it anyway. We're
Sasha's winning, and Bianca's winning Money in the Bank. That's what. Okay. You know what? Can I just say as well? Do I get a bonus point for saying that Edge will be healed by the time we walk out of WrestleMania, and he's already healed? Why not? That was a good shout.
Bonus point prediction. We were talking about match results.
Yeah, I made a prediction. All right.
We've got JVDB in the comments again saying that he thinks that Io Shirai may win the women's Money in the Bank. Obviously, Io Shirai having a big title defense against Raquel Gonzalez at NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. Yeah, I got it right. That obviously is going to main event night one of TakeOver, and this obviously could well main event that. And who knows, we could even see Io Shirai lose that and then immediately come out on the SmackDown following WrestleMania and challenge the winner of this match. So so should we go on now to what we believe may well be the opening match of the night, which is Bobby Lashley defending the championship against Drew McIntyre. Now, the Hurt Business are banned from ringside, but
don't exist anymore.
But Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin being no longer a part of the Hurt Business, could they still come out and interfere in this match?
I wish me and Dan were talking about this the other day, and I wish we had recorded my genuine reaction to that idea, because I was like, that's amazing. Like, that's got to happen. That's like, that would partly because I don't like the fact they broke up the Hurt Business, but also because I think it would be great storytelling.
But then also, see, the thing is, because they had a tag team match, but was it that those two specifically are not allowed? Because technically the Hurt Business now is Bobby Lashley and MVP. So technically then MVP shouldn't be allowed at ringside if it's the Hurt Business. But so that's why it's a bit confusing in that sense. So if it's the Hurt Business, then yes, they would be allowed. If it's just them two, then obviously we've seen on Raw, obviously, Baron Corbin trying to cash in on the bounty that Bobby Lashley's put on Drew's head. So could that factor in? Obviously, Corbin only in the Andre Battle Royal on the pre-show. So, right, let's see who's going first, boys. It is number 4. Take it away, Rob.
Can we get a new dice in here, please?
No.
Unbelievable.
You said that.
I can roll it again and it still come up as 4, 4. Yeah, 4, 4.
See, I'm really torn between. I think this is my hardest one to call.
Exactly the same, mate. Yeah.
Because I really want Drew to win the title in front of fans. But I really loved Bobby Lashley with this title. And that's my problem, because I don't think it's not fair on Bobby to be basically a transitional champion, which is effectively what it would be, right? And I don't see Drew needing it right now, because we've had the Drew run since last Mania. And it was, the feuds he had were great. The match he had against Sheamus was fantastic. Match of the night of the last pay-per-view. So I'm really at a loss for who I think needs to lose, and I'm really struggling. But I want Bobby Lashley to win more. I feel like it's 15 years or whatever it was, the build, and we just had Drew's one, like I said, the previous year of he left and then come back. He had to build himself up again. We've had that story. Now I think we're getting a Bobby Lashley story, and it's 15 years, and I think he's got so much more to prove. Now being a champion instead of just being a mid-card to upper mid-card guy. So I'm going Bobby Lashley.
So we'll lock you in with Bobby Lashley. This is so bloody awkward, man. I was like, those two matches. So I literally, if you can see the document I've got up with all of our predictions on them, I'd filled most of mine in already as to what I was going to go for. And these last two matches were the only two that I hadn't filled in for night one anyway. So I was literally like, oh, please, let me go last on these ones. So let me see. I'm kind of like you. It's that I'd like to see Drew win the title with fans there. Be really like a real good feel good moment, really. Bobby Lashley, though, has been doing probably some of the best work in his entire WWE career at the moment. He just looks such a dominant WWE champion. It's hard. Which way do I go? Do I go the same as you, or do I go the opposite way? I am going to go for Drew McIntyre.
Ooh, it's heated up. Okay. I'm going to rip it off quickly so it don't hurt as much. Bobby Lashley.
Yes.
Not that it hurts that he would win, but it hurts that if I'm wrong with a prediction, because like you guys are saying, the Drew moment, the Drew when the fans come, Drew moment. Like we've been talking about all year. Starting with last year, we did the Talk and Beans WrestleMania podcast, and Daniel was on that with us. Since then, we've been saying, but Drew will get his moment. Drew will get it with his fans, and then every single pay-per-view review we did on the main Rebellious Noise channel, and now on the brand new RN Pro Wrestling channel. Please subscribe if you're new. We're all new. This is a brand new channel. But we've all been saying all along, Drew's got to get that moment, surely. But then you think about it, it's been a long time, like a year. I don't know if he needs that moment anymore. He's won the title, he's lost the title, he's won the title. And he's lost the title. So I think I've done the right amount there. But yeah, to win it back, I can kind of see it in some ways, but I think Lashley needs it now. I think transitional champion Lashley is not something I want to see personally. Yeah, as much as I want Drew to get that moment, we always talk about, the guys that come from over this side of the world, we love seeing them do well. Drew's got an amazing story as well. But for me, Lashley, since he came back, I've been thinking, when's Lashley getting his chance? He's come back to get, just like Drew, went away, and, you can say what you will about other promotions, but he was at Impact champion, showed he could be a world champ. Come here, and all right, he had the ECW title before, but it's time for him to be a world champion in WWE. And I think, he's got the pyro, he's got the new cool video graphic and stuff like that. I just think, let him win this time round, and maybe he'll lose it Money in the Bank. But I don't think Drew needs that moment anymore, and I do think this match will probably kick it off. You're excited. Drew's here. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then Lashley wins, and then you're like, oh, Hill won. That's a bit annoying, but we're still on WrestleMania. And at the end of the night, you end with, like we said earlier, Sasha Banks losing and Belair closing it with a happy go homes type film. So yeah, that's what I think is going on. And again, a lot of it depends on the order of the matches, but Bobby Lashley. And I'd love it if it was because of that Hurt Business loophole.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Lashley as well. I think that it's just awful this, because I just so wish, as much as I'm a Randy Orton fan, I just wish that Drew never lost it to Randy Orton. That really pointless.
Yeah, that was pointless.
Because that way, then Drew would have a stronger kind of stance going into this, and we may not need him to have that Mania pop. But this Mania pop that we're talking about, it's not just for Drew. This is the thing I guess we've all got to remember. It's for all of them. Any babyface, basically, they haven't had that pop for a year. You know, and I guess, like, yes, not all of them were WWE champion last year. I get that in the main event. But, you know, Daniel Bryan, he deserves a Mania pop. He didn't get one last year. He was in the IC title match. He didn't get to have it last year. You know, the women, such as obviously Sasha, she was obviously a part of Mania in a different role last year. She deserved the pop. You know, so it's like, and I guess that's what's probably going through their minds too in the day. Like, everyone basically deserves a pop. Everyone,
yeah.
And,
I think it's that first pop though, isn't it? It's that first, like, Drew never got the "I finally won the title" pop, and I think a second-hand replacement pop is what we've all thought he might get. But I think they've got the first pop now, in Belair.
Yeah, nor did Braun Strowman. He won the Universal Championship last year. He didn't get it. So, I mean, what makes Drew special and not Braun? That's the problem.
They done it too late with Strowman. They should have done that 2 years ago.
Braun just got a match graphic to announce his match.
Yeah.
Whereas Drew built up.
So, I mean, you know, I don't know. I think as much as I see those points, I'm still a bit like, I don't see how Drew having his moment is more important than anyone else in this scenario. I think anyone who won a match last year at Mania basically deserves to be treated the same, deserves to have the same moment this year, essentially. Yeah. They were robbed of it last year. Just obviously he was robbed of obviously a bigger match. But I think the bigger story here really is obviously, are we going to get Lashley and Lesnar down the line? If yes, Lashley needs to win this match.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to build.
He can't lose to Drew and then challenge Brock.
Yeah,
He'll look foolish. So, you know, but then even if not, I'd argue Lashley should still win this match, because Drew, obviously, he's mid-30s, may be able to go for, you know, a little bit longer. He's definitely going to get another run with it, but I think let's just actually have a long-term champion actually go the distance without, you know, flip-flopping and Money in the Bank, all that kind of stuff coming into it.
And a long-term champion, obviously, that's actually going to be around week in, week out, not like not a long-term champion that's there like once every 3 or 4 months. So
but yeah, they really messed us up by having Drew lose to Orton. It was absolutely it would have made this story would have been so much easier if that didn't happen, because then Drew would have had, I guess, his moment, so to speak, would have been the fact he would have been WWE champion for almost a year. Yeah, fair enough.
Like, they still could have done the money. They still could have done the elimination chamber thing with like Bobby attacking him to cause Miz to win it, and they still could have done all that. But
that would have been more impactful as well. Actually.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's been on this like nobody
year-long reign, you know, like
yeah.
I've spoken about before. I think I mentioned to you, Dan. I think I don't know about chats or whatever, but I said something that could be really, really cruel. They could have done is have Drew go almost the full year, and then on the last Raw before Mania gets cashed in on, like. That would be the ultimate villain move with that cash-in that Money in the Bank briefcase. Particularly, like, if the villain had held on to it for so long, the heat you could get with that could be huge. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Bobby Lashley. I think that's. I think that also might be, with that theory of this being like the opening match too. I know it's a bit of a, I don't know, because it depends how fans are reacting to this. Like, you know, because I think fans are generally happy that Lashley is champion. Yeah. Even though he is villain. So it's like,
I think it's just been so long, like in the work sort of thing, and you know, he's deserved it. I think he deserved it. Like, so I recently did a video where I spoke about my experience at WrestleMania 23. So go back and watch that if you've not already watched it. And on that night, Bobby Lashley was actually the ECW champion, and he was representing Donald Trump, facing off against the then Intercontinental champion Umaga, representing Vince McMahon. And
things have changed since then.
You know, even then, it's like back then, it's like, okay, Bobby Lashley's the ECW champion, but that wasn't even a title that was defended on that show. But they had like an ECW Originals versus like the New Breed match, whereas, you know, you're thinking he was a well, technically, if they want to class it as a world champion, he was a world champion then. But I think at that time he could well have taken the title at that moment and, you know, gone on in that era of like Batista, Undertaker, Michaels, Lesnar. Sorry, not Lesnar, Cena. And he could have well gone on and, you know, had a bit of a dominant run there, you know. Just think how much that would have done for the Bobby Lashley character if, you know, he's going through Undertaker, Batista, Cena, Triple H, those kind of names, you know.
Time, though, isn't it? Time period. You know, star-wise, it was huge. And he'd only ever sat beneath all those people you just mentioned. But yeah, I think this is where they're maybe making up to him. So yeah, I'm going with Lashley.
Cool. And JVDB in the chats again is saying doesn't matter who wins, they're going to get F5 straight after. So possible, very much possible.
Yeah, it's weird not having him on the show, so it wouldn't make sense if he just showed up.
To be fair, though, it could even happen at the end of night 2. Obviously, the Paul Heyman connection.
Yep.
Exactly. So that's a possibility too. So yeah, after night 1, it looks like apart from 3 matches, we are pretty much all in agreement. So obviously Scott going different on the Cesaro Seth Rollins match, Rob going different on the Sasha versus Bianca match, and me going different on the Lashley Drew match. So we know there's going to be some changing at the top of this table in the battle for mate. I don't need a graphic. I don't need the graphic. I've got this lovely little trophy, and obviously I'm hoping that it's going to be staying right here with me, but you know, it may go to one of you guys. And
the Guardian, mate. All right.
Yeah, I'm the Guardian of the. Well, I would say Guardian of the Galaxy, but yeah, we're not. So it looks like now we are going to move on to night 2, and we are going to start off with a match from SmackDown. And that is Kevin Owens taking on Sami Zayn. Now, it was announced on SmackDown that Logan Paul is going to be involved in this somehow. It seems like he's going to be in Sami Zayn's corner. He has been invited to WrestleMania. He has accepted said invitation. So, obviously, night 1, they've got the celebrity influence there in Bad Bunny. And night 2, they have got Logan Paul.
He's going to get booed out of the building.
Do we think that Logan Paul is literally... is he going to have any kind of like physical interaction in this, do we reckon? Or is it just going to be a case of, you know, he's just going to be there at ringside just for the name?
He is knocking Sami on his hiney.
How much would it cost for us to pay Kevin Owens just to drop Logan Paul with a star?
He probably will, to be fair. Yeah, he might.
I need to see it. Just one.
I just want him to go like full on Stone Cold and just be like, booyah! Just run around and just stun the entire like Paul family or something, like Austin did with the McMahons that time. But,
Raw Homecoming. That was a good show.
Yeah, that was good. Available on the WWE Network as well.
I might go back and watch that. Yeah.
Obviously, for fans in the United States, it will be on Peacock if they've not yet censored it. For any reason, as they seemingly like doing at the moment.
Be one stunner. They'd be like, no, you can't do one.
Too much. Can't have it.
Sorry, no middle fingers allowed. Right, so let's see who's going first for this one. Hopefully not me, because I haven't got a bloody clue who I'm picking for this. And it's number 3. So Lucas.
Okay. What was the match again?
Logan Paul. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn.
There we go.
Okay, cool. Them 2. Okay.
Them 2, yeah. Big Kevin and Sam.
And Generico.
They are literally like some sort of tapeworm, these two. They WWE have obsessions with certain things, and I think like they have an obsession with Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. If they're on the same brand, have to be teaming or feuding. There can be no other option. You're allowed maybe like a month of the year where they're not doing either of those things, because we've done this. Like, this is literally a repeat. Yeah, like Logan Paul on the outside with Sami, like he's obviously going to get physical, get involved, most likely in the way of like Sami Zayn kind of up his own, backside kind of thing, and Logan Paul having enough of it. But I generally don't think people are going to cheer Logan Paul. I think Bad Bunny would be quite popular, but I think even he might get a few boos just because it is a celebrity thing. But I think he's definitely more popular, and I guess people respect that. Obviously, at least he's been trying the past few months on Raw. But I think Logan Paul, he's going to get, because literally the minute you mention about Logan Paul, it is the controversies. Obviously, we don't need to go into him here, but he's had quite a few over the years. But yeah, I guess that's where it's going. I'm just hoping it didn't distract too much from the match, because I'm guessing this is one they put on, along with, I think, Cesaro and Rollins, to be fair, to appease the more smart marquee kind of AEW kind of fans, because they are those kind of people who they're going to do the crazy kind of spots, they're going to do the high risk stuff that section of the audience like, because again, their competition is obviously running in the same state. As obviously wrestling only exists with fans inside Florida. It's a really
Florida
weird
Championship Wrestling, man.
It's a really weird time to be alive. So it's really hard to call though, because Sami Zayn, he won last year, man, didn't he? Yeah, because he won last year, and then he couldn't come to work, could he, because of the pandemic.
Yeah,
so
he won the IC title, didn't he?
Yeah, he retained over Bryan when I thought he'd win. So I would go with a Kevin Owens win, actually. I think he won last year too. I think, he's still, for me, one of the ones that if they want to stick the boot behind him, like he could be in that main event echelon, I still think. Mm-hmm. And, he lost to Reigns quite a few times. So I think having him win would be better than having Sami Zayn win. So Kevin Owens for me.
Yeah. So for me, I want Sami Zayn to win, because I'm really enjoying this like conspiracy theory video thing that he's doing. I just listened to the podcast it was on with Renee Young, and he's explaining the difference in like the character change and stuff like that. But after watching SmackDown and then Owens saying, "I'm going to keep stunning you back that till you come back to reality" or something, it seems like they're feuding, but it's for their friendship. It's not there's a rivalry between them. It's Kevin Owens cares about Zayn, and there's a rivalry there, So I think to make a rivalry continue, they're kind of Owens would have to win, but to elongate Sami Zayn, I won. But I don't see too much happening. I think if anything is going to happen, then it will be maybe something to do with a haluva kick, something like that, and then and it hits Logan. That way, Logan gets taken out of the equation, and it's just between them two. It could be something like that. Owens in the corner. Logan stands up there to mock him, gets the haluva kick, and then maybe it's a stunner straight after, and that's how Owens is going to get the win. But I'm really unsure, because normally there's a rivalry or there is a big feud. There's something's happened to put them against each other, and this time it's the complete opposite. They're against each other because Owens cares about him. So it's really hard to judge. But I think for the sake of the character and someone getting a push, I think Sami Zayn needs to win it. He's finally got somewhere. He's had one title. He's finally getting somewhere. It's a character that he's actually invested in, and he's got a lot of creative around. And I think pulling it away from him now and taking a loss now, especially at Mania, I think would just ruin that character. So I want Sami Zayn to win. So I'm going Sami Zayn.
Yeah, it's really a tricky one, actually. For me, this was another where I was not overly sure. And to be fair, this has not really done much to help either way. Obviously, Rob going for Sami and Lucas going for KO. Who do I go for? I gotta say though, I do love the way with Kevin Owens, the way that he's still going with the old KO Mania thing on his t-shirts. I think this one's KO Mania 5, using the old WrestleMania 5 like logo and everything like that, but just with his match graphic on there. So I do like that. The whole I think the whole documentary thing, I think that's going to play a part in this somehow. Now I think that maybe one of the cameramen could be disguised as something and possibly cost one of them the match. Oh, it's so tricky. So tricky. Who do I go for? It's one of those where like my head says one, but then my heart says another thing. It's like I think Owens may win, but I'd like to see Sami win. Yeah. I definitely think this one could open night 2 and steal the show 100%. Who do I go for? Come on, Sami or Kevin? Who do I go for? I can't pick a draw either. I am gonna go, I think, with. I'm going with Rob, Sami Zayn.
Yeah, boy.
Locking it in.
Okay. Right. It's really hard because I feel like Logan Paul, like you said, he's probably going to get booed, right? And I think WWE might know that. And therefore, they either want Logan to act up the heel role and he does just join thing with Sami Zayn, help Zayn win, and Zayn does get that. Because like Rob says, I think that storyline to continue of Sami's kind of justified somehow, would be kind of good. But then at the same time, I can also see Sami kind of being, Logan not necessarily going heel, but they kind of play up to, he's going to get booed anyway. And basically Logan somehow, basically hits Sami Zayn falls down or whatever else. Not long after that, Kevin Owens does his, whatever he needs to do to win. And then Kevin Owens kind of celebrating with Logan, stunned him, basically. And I think that's probably how that segment ends and Logan kind of goes backstage holding his head sort of thing. Because I think Bad Bunny with his arm raised is what they're going to do. And although Logan Paul is maybe even a bigger name, then let's be honest, now a lot of people don't like Logan Paul. So either you make him a heel or you make him kind of like the babyface get the rub, big moment, and you knock him down. Because remember, he's a boxer these days as well. He knocks him down, but Kevin Owens does the kind of rebellious underback, just like Austin, to be fair. And also, you got to remember, Kevin Owens said specifically, "I'm jumping off that pirate ship" for last year, and then he didn't get to do it. So he specifically wanted to do that. So I can kind of see that happening as well. So I think they're going to be the moments in this. Owens is going to jump off the pirate ship, and Zayn is going to get knocked out by Logan Paul. But ultimately, I think it's going to be Kevin Owens that wins the match.
Do you think we're going to see the documentary at all, or do you think it'll be one of those
things
I don't think we never get to see it?
I love the trailer though.
Yeah, it was all right.
They could upload it to the network, couldn't they? Really?
They could, yeah.
Or do you think this is going to be a way to like push a Sami Zayn YouTube channel of the conspiracy theories and things like that, and have it become another part of his character before they kind
could do, yeah. It could do.
I'm intrigued, very intrigued.
Yeah, so it is. I think it will play into something maybe, because I did hear something that they could potentially have done something along the lines of like a ladder match where they've got, say, like a flash drive or something on the top, and it contains the only copy of the documentary. And if Owens wins, he gets to like destroy it, and if Sami wins, obviously he gets to play it. That could be like
now, isn't it? I like that kind of thing. But
it could be some kind of like fun little stipulation that they may add next week, but I don't think they will. I don't think they will. Logan Paul on a pole match, or Logan Paul suspended in a shark cage or something, maybe. I think we're going a bit too in depth with this one.
I want to say, regardless of what people think of Logan Paul, props to WWE for getting him and to
yeah,
Sami
definitely.
Zayn and like getting Sami. I know again, you might not like Logan Paul, but the airtime that he got on SmackDown, basically that, and him dancing in the ring. I want to learn how he did that little jig. But Sami Zayn has been absolutely amazing lately. So yeah, I'm just excited to see the whole thing. I think it's the perfect storyline.
Yeah, I think Sami's name will definitely come up with most underused talent on the roster, along with Cesaro, really. I think, Sami's definitely one of the most underutilized people.
And Nakamura,
around.
maybe they should form a stable. Oh, wait.
I think the only other thing that was kind of intriguing me towards Sami doing this, like Logan Paul being a part of it as well, is Logan also has his own podcast on YouTube, and he gets millions, literally millions. So would it be one of those sort of deals where you come on ours and we'll get Sami on yours? Because every WWE fan is going to want to go and watch it or listen to it at least. Even half of them. So, on top of that, on top of Logan Paul's following and fan base that he gets on the podcast anyway, for both companies, that's a win-win. So, so there's got to be a deal there of some sorts. I mean, if they don't get a wrestler on that podcast soon, I'll be amazed.
Oh, who's got someone backing up?
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like someone's backing up somewhere.
She's around, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, it's someone outside here, I think.
All right. So we will move on to a match where there's no stipulation at the moment, but most likely there will be something announced on night 2. That is between the Fiend and Randy Orton. So the Fiend, he obviously in his new get-up. It's going to be interesting to see how we can actually wrestle in that stuff. But big question: is it Bray Wyatt or is it as some people speculated, Bo Dallas?
Bo Dallas
in the costume.
Okay.
Bo Dallas and then Bray Wyatt come out.
Bo Dallas shirt? Oh, no.
So
here.
do we believe that it's Bo Dallas?
The best NXT champion of all time, in my opinion. Love Bo Dallas.
I'd love to see him be used, to be honest. But yeah.
So right, let's have a look. Who's going first for this one? It is number 4. That is Rob.
Yes. Just because you're picking it up and showing the camera, how do I know that you've not turned that as you've done it? There's a conspiracy. So someone call Sami Zayn and tell him, because I'm agreeing now. There's something going on.
Come on, man. Someone else is doing that gimmick, mate. Come on.
To be fair, the only other way I could do it is film it on my phone as I'm doing it, but then I'm so cack-handed I'll end up dropping the phone or something. Or
I'll let you off.
Cheers, mate.
So, I mean, I think we're all in agreement that the only thing that could happen here is the Fiend win. Because it does not make sense in any way, shape, or form for the Fiend to finally rise back up again and then lose to Randy Orton. I just don't see it. I find it really hard to believe that they're going to do all this build since, Rumble? Was it Rumble?
TLC.
No, TLC.
TLC. So since then...
No, even before that. It was
but since he's been gone, though, yeah.
Tables, ladders, and charcoal.
What?
Yeah. I like that. That's good.
Tables, ladders, and charcoal.
That's a good
I was going to say it's weird that they had a stipulation pay-per-view and still went mad with it. But yeah, when did the actual feud start then?
Wait, when did it start?
After the Drew one, surely.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I can't remember.
A long time ago.
Yeah. It's been a while. It's been a long feud. And I literally don't see the whole build, Bray being burnt to a crisp, coming back again as this weird looking Fiend, and
just
to lose it. If they done that, honestly, what a waste of a time. So much waste. The only thing to gain from that would be Randy Orton's acting skills and Alexa Bliss being weird. That is literally yeah. I mean, I'm all for that, but they
had him lose a title, mate, when he was really strong to a 50-odd-year-old man for no reason whatsoever.
True. But yeah, I really don't see anything other happening than the Fiend winning. However, I do like that mask, but I don't like it on that graphic. Does it look too fake to you?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Yeah. And also, I'm really hoping we don't have this red light as well. This weird lighting. it doesn't work. They tried it with Sin Cara, it was awful. They done it when the Fiend first come out, it was awful.
They did stop it actually because of people with what do you call it, color blindness were having trouble.
Yeah.
Mm.
So like just get rid of that. We the lights are great on the entrance. We don't need it during the match. I mean, it's bad enough when they'd done it with the red Hell in a Cell and the red light. Like no one knew what was happening. So just stop before you ruin it again. But yeah, I'm going a Fiend win 100%.
Yeah, and we know ourselves, me and Scott, from being at WrestleMania and seeing Randy Orton wrestle, that there's been issues with Randy Orton matches and lighting in the past. When you get fans in unison chanting "We can't see" because there's a spotlight shining directly in your eyes, is not the best thing when you're trying to watch a wrestling match.
No fans for a whole year, and you'd annoy them all with a red light.
Yeah, well, it's going to be something that will annoy. I mean, it's either that or the last time they met at WrestleMania, there was maggots projected onto the ring. So that was obviously when it was Eater of Worlds Bray Wyatt, not Fiend Bray Wyatt. But so here's my theory on this one.
Theory.
There's gonna be the theory of, it's not the theory of everything, because that's something that's far more intelligent than I am. So, so my theory is that this is gonna get a stipulation, possibly on Raw. There's no way this is gonna end up as a straight up singles match because but then it's, how do you do a cinematic match in front of a live audience? It's, if you're gonna do some kind of
end it with a cinematic maybe.
Or possibly
finish the match, or the big stunt in the middle of the fans. Yeah.
But then is it going to be the whole match is then projected onto the screen?
They could do it House of Horrors style, where the match ends in the ring.
Yeah. Possibly. Yeah. So the theory is, I think it's not gonna. I think this version of the Fiend could well be somebody else, possibly Bo Dallas. And then we get because the gear looks quite restrictive that he's wearing. So I think that the original version of the Fiend is going to kind of rise from the ashes of this version and obviously get the final, like Sister Abigail and the pin on Randy Orton. I don't see that there's any way at all that Orton is coming out of this match with the victory, just because I don't think it really warrants him winning. So, yeah, for me, I think all day long it's got to be Fiend to win.
I don't understand why people don't think it is Bray Wyatt.
Because, so the theory is apparently this new version of the Fiend looks a lot smaller than Bray Wyatt. So
I think it's the same old crap when people think there's a different Warrior and there's a different Kane. I don't think it's, if it doesn't look like that, I'd be very, very shocked, because this is like fantasy booking, like 2/21/11 things coming. It's like, to me, it's that kind of stuff. I don't think it's legit. If it is, again, I'd be shocked, and I'd love it to be Bo Dallas. But yeah, I don't see that being.
So you don't believe it's Bo, no?
Don't believe it, mate. No. Yeah, I just think it's like Rob said. You do this whole storyline only for the Fiend to lose. I can't see that. So yeah, my quick pick would be that the Fiend's going to win. I don't know how they're going to do it. Don't know what kind of match they're going to do. I just know it's going to be noteworthy. And yeah, the Fiend's going to march on.
Okay.
You're going to go Orton now, aren't you?
Yeah. No, I actually am. I don't know. This is where it's annoying us doing it. Sometimes us doing this early, because there has to be a stipulation to this. I refuse to believe it's just going to be like a singles match. I mean, the Fiend doesn't have singles matches, like normal matches, does he? They're always cinematic, or there's some sort of element to them.
So is it for you that a stipulation would change it either way then?
I think that depending on the stipulation, I guess. Because if the stipulation is, the stipulation should be another Inferno match of some kind. And then it's the same situation there where, well, you're not going to have Randy Orton get set on fire, are you? So then that would make me think.
I'd love it, because the whole pirate thing, yeah? I'd love it, especially if you notice on a poster, he's got like there's loads of pirate stuff going on, but he's got Fiend's head on the stick and it's on fire because I think they obviously made that before Fiend come back. I'd love it if they had some sort of like pirate ship, like flaming pirate ship match. That's what the match should be.
Like a walk the plank match, and it's you push them off into fire or something.
And then you've got all these like, I know we go on and off about the cinematic stuff, but if you're gonna do it, go hard on it, man, and like do flaming Pirates of the Caribbean type zombies walking through, you know, like that's what I want to see, man.
But yeah, I kind of prescribe to it that it's not the correct Fiend as well. I kind of think that is something, but I don't know if it's overthinking. I'm not too sure. I mean, Orton lost to Edge last year as well. You know, well, the Fiend lost also, so I guess no, he beats him, didn't he? In the Firefly Funhouse match. I don't know if that counts as a match, but I'm just gonna go for Randy Orton. I mean, maybe just people might think about points to an extent because if you was all wrong, then I do obviously get a bit closer.
Well. Yeah,
but
might bring you closer to that magical 40-point mark, mate.
I just don't see Orton losing again. But then, mind you, it's been like that for the past year. He's lost every time I want him to win, he loses, and every time I don't want him to win, he wins. You know.
Yeah.
Because he lost to Keith Lee, didn't he? Like, you know, then he beat Drew McIntyre in Hell in a Cell. So it was just.
Yeah. Oh, I think. Oh, did we lose him? Is he back?
Not yet. Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, I'm gonna go Randy Orton. Should be different.
I think the Fiend's doing some shenanigans, mate. Watch your back.
And we've got a couple of comments on this as well. So if it is indeed obviously different Fiends, then we've got would be cool to see Fiend versus Fiend if it is indeed Bo and Bray. And on the subject of Fiend not having regular matches, the Fiend had a singles match with Finn Balor at SummerSlam, apparently.
Well, 2 years ago.
So,
I guess against Goldberg was a normal match. I mean, what I meant though is, or what I meant to expand on that is, he's not had like a regular non-squash type match. It's always, you know, there's never like, it's always a special kind of. Obviously, he's an attraction, isn't it? Yes, his first match was that, but then apart from when he lost to Goldberg, which was a squash, they've all been triple threat match. Yeah, triple threat match, swamp fights. Even the one he had with Braun last year, in like May, where there was that cinematic element where. That bit at the end, they did that weird bit at the end to set up the swamp fight.
Yeah.
And then obviously Firefly Funhouse. You know, there's never been just like.
Yeah, and this is the biggest one, like the most stakes, the biggest story. It's got to be some sort of
Yes, it's got to be cinematic on this occasion.
I'm telling you, flaming pirate ship match. I'm telling you.
Go for it. Let's go for it.
So we are going to now go into the 4 big title matches on night 2 of WrestleMania, starting with the most recently announced one that was just this Monday on Raw, and that is Riddle defending the United States Championship against Sheamus. Now, have we all seen Sheamus's latest, I think, Instagram post where he has gone back to the Mohawk for WrestleMania? So,
okay.
Who is going to be the first one to predict the United States title match? It is number 3. So that is Lucas this time.
Sheamus. And can it be a squash? So we know that. So Riddle doesn't. Oh God, I can't do a Riddle. Yeah, just Sheamus. Can he repeat what he did to Dan O'Brien a few years ago? For that exact same match. I don't know if Riddle has a girlfriend. To kiss or whatever, to the fake kiss thing, and to get broken.
Kiss the scooter.
yeah, kiss the scooter. It's just, I just can't stand him. I'm just gonna keep it like that, short and sweet. Sheamus to win.
Yeah. You said he's going back to the Mohawk. Does that mean he's going to turn into Rocksteady at some point from the Turtles, or is? Do you know? I'm really hard. I find this one hard as well because I'm not a fan of Riddle. Like, I like his in-ring work, but I just don't like his character. He's just annoying as anything. I'd rather listen to Vicky Guerrero saying "excuse me" on repeat. That's how much I despise him as a character. But I feel a part of me really wants Riddle to win. I don't know. I find it really hard. I'm gonna go Sheamus. I'm gonna go Sheamus as winning.
Yeah.
Purely because I just don't like Riddle as a character. His in-ring work is incredible. He's great in the ring, but his character is just
irritating.
Yeah, it's like a surfer dude you just want to smack around all the time. Like, it's just not needed. You know,
it's such an obvious character as well. I think that's what's annoying about it.
Yeah.
It's like a parody of the Wayne's World and Dude, Where's My Car guys. And
most films are over 20 years old.
Yeah,
it's like...
exactly that. You know, it's done. We don't need that sort of now in this era. You know, we don't even need a character for that sort of guy. You know, his in-ring work speaks for itself. He doesn't need to be a character. But yeah, so for that, I'm going Sheamus. But just kick the character out of him. Just please.
You just see it leave his body.
Yeah.
Bro. Your title reign is coming to an end at WrestleMania when Sheamus kicks you straight out of your flip-flops. So I'm going to go, I think, for a Sheamus victory. I think, I think WWE didn't necessarily appreciate the work that Sheamus was doing. And these last few weeks where he's been having these matches with Drew, the really hard-hitting matches, and obviously Riddle being a former MMA fighter, obviously is used to hitting people for real, obviously, and even more so than you would in wrestling. Obviously, it's still you're still hitting people, but it's just more controlled rather than obviously trying to actually hurt your opponent. But obviously, I just think that Riddle, the character's not really my cup of tea, really. For me, Sheamus all day long. I think, as you guys say, I think it may be just that quick old. To be fair, this could even be the match of night 2 that gets chucked on the pre-show.
We're going to say match of the night then.
So we're going to have obviously a scooter on a pole match, Riddle versus Sheamus, and the winner gets to scoot on out of there with the the United States Championship, and I think that is going to be Sheamus, fella.
Okay, well, a clean sweep then, because I think Sheamus is going to win as well. The only thing that makes me think it might not, because I feel like that would be the original plan, because the original Bro is at the title for a while, and Sheamus, you're going to make him look good after the good work he put in against Drew. You know, go back and watch our reviews on Fastlane, because I think we all loved that match. And yeah, I was saying back then, I feel like Sheamus needs a reward, basically. He's had a great year, and I think that is winning the US title at WrestleMania. And I don't know where they're going with his character. That's the only thing I'm not sure of. And the other thing that makes me think I'm not sure is that I do think this might originally be the plan. The only thing that puts me off with that it could have possibly changed is that botch recently where, you know, the rumors are that Vince thought it was hilarious and just put it in anyway. So that, you know, when WWE get these happy accidents, they run with them, you know, and they go way too far on them. Pretty much every single time this happens, you know, my whole thing, that was a meme, was it? We'll do it again. You know, they go mad on this stuff, and that's what I'm worried about anyway, because like you say, like his character's not the most likable for some people anyway, and then if you add that on top of it, I think it's really going to put people off. And yeah, that's my fear, that they kind of maybe do have a Sheamus plan, but they're going to go with Bro because, you know, this new kind of found version of the gimmick I'm scared they're going to run with. But I'm going to stick my original prediction and say no, Sheamus is going to win because I think he deserves to have a nice little moment in the sun. Or maybe famous, but...
I do maybe see Riddle getting a backstage segment with RVD on the show.
That'd be good, yeah.
And I'd put this out there if they watch, but if they don't want Sheamus to win the title of Riddle, have them team together and be called the Brogue Kickers. They can have that one for free.
Well, Bro and Brogue.
Brogue, yeah. Brogue. So obviously for anyone that's not seen what Scott was referring to with the Riddle botch thing, it was a backstage segment on Raw where Matt Riddle was scooting up to Asuka backstage and basically was saying something to her about WrestleMania and just totally forgot what he was meant to say and just said, well, I forgot my line, really. And
it's just really weird because the segment before that there is it, because I had gone to bed when that segment happened, right? And I saw everyone talking about online, so then I watched it. But the segment he was in before that, I can't remember who he was with. I genuinely thought, did he just forget his line in that? So when everyone was talking about him forgetting his line, I was like, oh yeah, I've seen that. And then I watched the back, I was like, oh no, it's a different segment altogether. So it's weird. I kind of felt like it was going to happen anyway.
And this is what happens with scripted promos. If you just let the guys go out and say what they want, then they can build their characters. If you're giving them a script, then there's more chance they're going to forget stuff.
It was funny though. But I decided
it was funny.
I had a danger with it.
And there was a reason that I brought that up, actually, is because it leads nicely, transitions into the next match. The person that Riddle was talking to being Raw Women's Champion Asuka, who will defend her Raw Women's Championship against the Nightmare Rhea Ripley. Now, Rhea was in a match last year, obviously, with Charlotte, filmed all those vignettes at Raymond James Stadium, never got to have a moment, though, in the Florida sun, and never really got to, obviously, have the big title match in front of fans. This year, though, she is. We don't know what the circumstances around Charlotte are. Obviously, we've heard little bits and pieces online as to the stuff that Andrade's has come out in the media and said. Obviously, there's been stuff that's got lost in translation there. There's obviously Charlotte having the COVID diagnosis, which would have only kept her out for like a week or so, but or a couple of weeks, sorry. But yeah, either way, I would not have been surprised if Charlotte is added to this match at some point. If she isn't, then I do think there is going to be something happening in this match. There's nothing at the moment scheduled for next week. So
yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. The whole Charlotte thing, I guess, throws it off, don't it?
Yeah, it is kind of strange, really, because you'd think that they would have they'd have Charlotte in one of the big matches at WrestleMania. The fact, I think originally the plan was to have Charlotte as part of the match against Asuka. But then they had obviously Rhea debuting and obviously calling her out for it. There's obviously talk that it could be some kind of punishment for Charlotte that, obviously with the widely known situation with Andrade. Obviously, Charlotte and Andrade are engaged and Andrade leaving WWE. There was obviously talk that there was a conversation between WWE and Charlotte to essentially say Andrade or WrestleMania, and obviously Charlotte seemingly would have chosen Andrade over WrestleMania. But I think
very, very wide speculation, though, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously you'd hope that would not be the case, that they would make a choose between the two. And, for all the work that she's obviously done, I think she does get a lot of stick, Charlotte Flair, but it's through no fault of hers. It's, she is only booked in a certain way. So the way that Charlotte is booked, I think, is obviously not down to her, essentially. It's down, obviously, to the WWE booking team. So, yeah, let's have a quick look and see who's going to predict this one first. It is number 4, which is Rob.
There's something going on here, guys.
Looks like his 5th one he's just doing, isn't it?
Yeah. What are the odds? It's another one of those where for Rhea to come out and just basically demand that, the match, and all this build up. So you had the build up of last year against Charlotte. Then we had was she in a part of the triple threat where we never got an answer?
Yes, she was. Yeah. With a long issue on the NXT. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had that. She's been dominant since she come into the Rumble. She was dominant in the Rumble. They've been teasing her for ages, and then she just walks out and basically says, "I challenge her to ask her." It would be absolutely ridiculous for Rhea not to win. Like I don't. it's one of those where I really don't like these situations because they kind of put themselves into a corner of, right, so if Rhea goes out there and now loses, what was the point of all this build-up? Like, there would be it makes them look stupid. But then on the flip side, if Rhea goes out and wins, we knew she was going to go and win. So there's not a level where I think to fans it's acceptable to do that. I mean, I don't know about anyone else, but it irritates me when they do that because we kind of know the outcome already, and I don't want to know the outcome. But yeah, I'm going with Rhea winning. I don't see it happening any other way unless there's a DQ or something happens, with Charlotte coming out towards the end, something like that, which I don't see happening. I really think that Rhea's winning, and that's it. I don't see anyone else winning. I don't see Asuka doing it at all. Rhea's got to win this now.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, I think they may have seen some of the backlash that they got last year for not having Rhea go over Charlotte. And are thinking probably they are going to try and make it right, I suppose, for this year. Yeah, I think Ripley's going to win. There may be, I'm not sure whether Charlotte may make an appearance in some aspect of this match. Obviously, she's got the history with both women. Obviously facing Rhea last year and then her ongoing feud with Asuka. So who do I go for? I'm going to go Rhea Ripley. I think she's going to win it clean. Possibly, it could even be one of these where Rhea wins it and then loses it immediately to Charlotte on Raw. But I hope not. But I think Rhea Ripley, and I hope that they give her a long title reign and have her as an absolute dominant, badass women's champion.
This was tough as well because also there's the rumors that it is all last minute and Rhea was just told last minute and you go into Mania, and that just doesn't feel built up, obviously, that the plan was to take it off Asuka. But then I don't think they had much planned for Asuka. So if it was Charlotte, whoever it was, or whether that would have gone on to Lacey and Charlotte and all that, Asuka probably weren't the plan either. So yeah, I think at the moment I'm going to go Rhea. As much as I enjoy Rhea, I do find it quite interesting that I think we're all victim of it. We all talk like she automatically deserves it. Like, oh yeah, she should be champ. Like, she's just debuted. It's so strange, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's because last year she was up in and around the mix and like the WrestleMania thing in the moment. And like, surely she would have come up to Raw back then after that, maybe, and maybe that was the original plan. So I think it's giving us all this feeling of like, oh yeah, of course Rhea's gonna win, and of course she's gonna have a long title run. As if she's ever been on Raw, really, other than recently. So it's quite a weird thing they've done with Rhea, I guess, to make us feel that way, that she is so deserving. And again, I'm not saying anything about her as a performer or the character. I enjoy both, so I'd like to see it. So yeah, weirdly enough, I'm under that spell as well, and I think Rhea is going to win the championship because I don't think they're doing much with it with Asuka. I don't think she is part of the plan at all. I think she's been a placeholder. But you could say the whole injury thing, like it could be good girl, you come back strong and you took that like a champ. Sometimes you see decisions like that, but not this time round. I don't think. I think it is just going to be Rhea winning the title.
Okay. Starting to last again. I think if they play the cards right with this one, this could be probably one of the best matches of the entire show, both nights. To be fair,
wow,
it's two really set of women, and this is why I think Charlotte needs to step aside. Again, there's too many rumors and speculation about what is the real reason why she's off WrestleMania. But the fact is, as of recording on the Saturday, the 3rd of April, she is not part of WrestleMania, and she probably deserves to be. And there is obviously some spoilers about what might be happening with a women's tag team match at the show. So there could be that way onto the show with her. And I mean, they could even add another women's match onto the card that her to be involved with. I know it's very lastminute.com, but if it is to be, I think, yes, it should be away from this match. especially with a triple threat match already being on the card on the same night. There's the problem they now have with these 2 night things. They can't keep the cards balanced. It's that if this was on the night 1, perhaps, then you have a triple threat, in night 1 and a triple threat in night 2. This obviously is taking place the same night as the other triple threat match, so I think that'll be a bit daft to do that. I am going to go for a Rhea Ripley win. It is odd, that we are speaking about her in such high regard, but she's just very good. It is just one of those where she is just very good, and she was already outclassing people on the main NXT and the main roster when she was in NXT UK. Then she went to the main NXT and was outclassing most of the male performers on that brand, and perhaps even on the main brand. She is, regardless of gender, she's probably one of the best wrestlers they've got. And she deserves to do this. And Asuka, she's had a bit of a weird run this run. We spoke about a few times where it's just been a bit weird. They haven't really known what they want from this. And then they have the whole, obviously, Asuka team with Charlotte Flair, and obviously Lacey Evans involved with it. But I do always think that the goal was for Lacey to win the championship. So if Lacey was to win it, then surely Rhea Ripley, someone who fans are much more receptive towards. So Rhea Ripley over.
Yeah, do you know what Scott said? It really made me think for a second. You said that Rhea Ripley's able to kind of just come in and fans are fine with it. But do you remember when Keith Lee came in and he was the North American champion? He had become the NXT champion. He come straight to Raw or SmackDown, wherever it was, basically on the Raw or SmackDown. And everyone was up in arms about the fact that he was in a position to become a champion already. He'd only been there a couple of weeks. So I just don't understand the double standard of a wrestling fan. If someone has the potential to become a champion and they're looking good doing it, regardless of race, size, gender, like if they're in that position, then they're in that position for a reason. And I don't think sometimes fans can sway it with a Daniel Bryan movement and stuff like that. But that was fans getting behind a character. There's no one behind Rhea at the moment, and there was no one behind Keith Lee at that point. But both of them were good enough to be in a position. But I'm just glad that for once, fans aren't in uproar about Rhea being in this position and just coming out and demanding a match, because
we're all under the spell, man.
It's crazy.
Put a spell on you.
It's madness how 1 minute fans are annoyed about it, and then literally a year later, fans are absolutely fine with it. It's just crazy how they're so acceptable to one thing and not something else.
It's just wrestling fans for you. Goldberg can't come back in WWE at 54 or whatever he is, but Sting can go to AEW at 61.
And
it's just
everyone
wrestling
loves it.
fans.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I'm just so happy that Rhea's in a position where she's getting her match. And, if regardless of whatever the thing is, the outcome is, I hope she gets her WrestleMania moment this year and then dominates for the next year. She's phenomenal in the ring. And you're right, as Lucas rightly said, outclassing people on, UK, the NXT, Raw and SmackDown. She was the other than Bianca Belair, the standout star in that Royal Rumble, and she deserves the position that she's in. So yeah, I'm really rooting for her.
Yeah, and so we now go on to the Intercontinental Championship match, which, as of SmackDown, has a very unique stipulation added to it. That match officially is apparently now a Nigerian drum fight match. So it seems like it's going to be some kind of street fight or no disqualification match, but just with a different name. Be interesting to see how this one goes. Let's have a look and see who is going to be picking first on this one. It is numero uno. That is myself. I am going to go for... I think in this one, it's got to be Apollo's time. Now, I think the character is obviously, he's doing some really good work with this character that he's got at the moment. Much like we said about on night one with AJ and Omos beating the New Day, I think Big E can afford to take a loss. There was obviously talk that Big E was going to be in the main Universal title picture around this time, but obviously that's not to be. It's nice to see that he is actually still defending a championship at WrestleMania. For me, it's one of these where I think I'd like to see Big E come out as champion still, but I do think that Apollo is going to come out of this one with the title. Especially, I always like to see if somebody obviously is gimmicking up a match themselves, that they would obviously go over in their chosen match. But then that also, on the flip side, makes me think that's why they won't have him go over, because he's obviously chosen that match to try and put Big E at a disadvantage. So I'm going to go anyway. I think I'm going to go with Apollo Crews to win the Intercontinental Championship on the grandest stage of all. But yeah.
Oh, this is a weird one because we were torn last time round, because two guys are seemingly getting pushed in a position they need to be in. There's only room for one of them, and then you add the Mania thing to the mix, and I think, big star, push the new gimmick. And then you also think, but push the solo New Day guy. The New Day guy needs it, And then you think about what the New Day do the day before. So does that come into it? I'm really torn on this one, man. I think... So, the last one ended with a weird finish where Biggie did win, right?
Yeah.
Really weird. But Cruz looked stronger, didn't he? So I'm going to say this time round that maybe Cruz is going to win it then. I'd prefer that, to be honest. I want to see once you give a gimmick like this, I want to see it, I want to see a rocket strap to him. I want to see how far it can go, and I want a title with it. So, put the IC title on him. I'd be happy to see that. So I'm going to go with Apollo Crews winning.
Yeah, I think Cruz has got this. It's his stipulation that he's set. I think that also he could do some very interesting things with the championship. Perhaps even a rebrand of it, because obviously it is the Intercontinental, and obviously Africa being a continent, obviously separate.
I was thinking the same way as well.
I guess that's something which they may already be thinking of, some sort of custom design or some sort of, some rebranding of it. There's lots they could do with this gimmick, and it's a gift.
A green strap.
Yes, please.
Yeah, it probably would be a green strap, to be fair.
Be nice.
A green and yellow strap, But I think, you're right. Like, it's nice. Apollo is one of those, obviously, in the pandemic era of wrestling. Like, he's one of the first people who kind of stepped up, wasn't he? He stepped up, in April last year, pretty much, to work against Andrade, who, again, like, I can't believe, we're talking about someone who was United States champion around the time of WrestleMania last year, is no longer working for that company. It's madness, and goes to show that these belts, to some extent, don't mean much, because someone's able to leave your company a few months later. However, with this, I think Apollo, he really stepped up, and I think this, like, obviously Titus O'Neil is getting his recognition, for a lot of his charity work, and also again for his kind of attitude, just towards the company, in this whole period. So he's getting the chance to host the show. I think Apollo too, like, he one of those, he showed up to work, didn't he? And he turned it up, and he really put on some really good matches in the early stage of that pandemic era. And it was a really hard task to get over as a babyface with no fans, and then obviously he's changed it to this gimmick. And I'm really a fan of this gimmick. So I think he deserves it. I think obviously in terms of the match, it's probably just some sort of street fight, with obviously Nigerian influenced weapons of some sort. And I think, I'll be interested. This one might actually get some special entrances as well, I think. So it could be quite cool how they could do it.
We haven't mentioned anything about entrances, yeah.
I think there'll be quite a few, because I think obviously they built them up, but because even sometimes usually they have SummerSlam have big entrances with some of the people, don't they? So they probably built them up over the last 12 months. I think there'll be quite a few entrances like that. But I'm down for an Apollo win.
Did you say it was a Nigerian drum match?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I was just checking, because I'm making sure that someone gets a beating.
No, it's a Nigerian drum fight.
Oh, okay.
Fight.
But yeah, I just wanted to ask for that joke.
No, it was a good pun. It was a good pun, mate.
Thanks, mate. Thanks. I could have but I thought I'd leave it.
Oh God.
Drum roll, please,
Oh, mate.
for your prediction.
Yeah. I think it's a unanimous decision. Apollo's winning. I think it's now in a position where Big E can take a loss and then go after the title again, and then technically lose, kind of get lost in the shuffle for a bit, then come back again. I just didn't see the point of the last match. It was even though it was a bit of a botch finish, I was happy with the way it finished because Apollo looked strong right at the end, battering Big E. So
they're really good,
yeah. I think it's going to be a brutal match. Like literally, there will be beatings involved, minus the drums. But I think if anything, this is the match I'm looking forward to the most, with or without the gimmick. Both guys look great. I think it's going to be literally just a solid match. Two guys just butting heads. It's going to be great. But Apollo's winning.
Yes, it's been pretty much the story of these predictions. Like we've mostly agreed, I think, on all but I'm just looking through now. All but 4 matches, I think we've agreed.
Watch out those double points as well, man. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be really, really close. So obviously this final match now being a triple threat match. There we see the table, obviously, how close it actually is at the top. The final match, obviously, being a triple threat match, means that we have 3 men to choose from, not 2. So let's see who is going to be, for the very final time this prediction cycle.
Yeah, unless they had some for the build-up show, but I doubt they had more matches now.
Yeah, well, technically the Smackdown one. The Smackdown. So let's have a look and see who is going to be picking first for the last time. It is number 2.
Oh,
Scott.
It just had to be, didn't it?
Come on. Oh, it's better than me doing it again.
Oh, I'm last. I just realised I'm last. Thank goodness for that.
All right.
Come on, man.
Oh, man.
This was the one that I really, really was like, please, if my number comes up, I'm screwed. I'm screwed.
Okay.
And
yeah, me too. I mean, we said when we were talking about whether or not Bryan was going to get added into the match and why he should be, a lot of it, what I was saying was like, yeah, he needs to be in it for the storyline, but he doesn't need the moment. He doesn't need the end. I don't think Edge is going to get in the way. Maybe that was the original plan, but they're not going to do it now because Edge ain't the Edge that came back. And I don't think that was the plan to change it up like that. I think they thought it was going to be a straight heel face dynamic with Roman. There's Roman, and we were saying even before all that, someone needs to come along, beat big bad Roman at WrestleMania. Surely that's the plan. So all these plans have just gone all over the place, I feel. So because of that, man, this is such a tough one. And not only because there's 3 people to pick, and it's probably the highest stakes because it's one of the highest, championships. And oh man, why have I got to go first? And not only for like decision making, but the fact that you guys can piggyback and then I can then be swayed but not allowed to change my decision. And
I've got mine, don't worry.
Oh, you got yours? Oh,
Yeah,
someone
yeah.
fucking. Do you want to give me Morse code? Oh, did you see that actually? That reminds me. What Rain said, he didn't tap out, he was doing Morse code to Paul Heyman. Oh, Reigns as a heel. Amazing.
well, I'll give you a bit of help. It's one of those 3 guys that's going to win.
Mate.
You're welcome.
Down, doesn't it?
It's not going to be Paul Heyman.
It's closing night too, isn't it? It's got to be Daniel Bryan. Like, Edge has healed it up the past few weeks. I think it would have been Edge, and it didn't need to be Bryan. But because they've healed it up with Edge. But then again, have they? Is he a tweener? Can he just face it up on the night and get the happy moment?
I still think he's getting the loudest pop of the night. As soon as you hear the opening lines of Metalingus, their crowd is going nuts for that.
Oh, man, I'm scared. Daniel Bryan, man. Daniel Bryan. I don't think it needs to, like, this is literally changing on a week-to-week basis, but I'll say Daniel Bryan at the moment.
100%.
Yeah.
So, right. So the original match was Roman and Edge. Of that, I thought Roman would win. And I was fine with that because I didn't want Edge to win. Now we're done with Bryan added into the mix and Edge basically turned heel. I still think I think that's now changed the match and changed the purpose of it. The reports are that basically Vince just did it to shake things up. And, there was concerns allegedly about how Edge looks. Vince is a bit thing about him looking old.
Bit of just for men on that beard, mate.
I was about to say that, yeah.
But that's the thing, surely hair dye exists.
I've been saying it all along, though. There was something weird about his hair, like the way it's cut. It looked like a mullet. I've been saying it since he come back.
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, because it's the same thing. I mean, Timothy Thatcher annoys me too. I get he was doing it for his gimmick for a little bit when he had his tooth missing. Because he had it, he had the tooth knocked out or whatever. But it's like, surely now just go to the dentist. You're getting paid money, I'm assuming. I'm not doing it for free anyway.
Asuka managed to get hers fixed straight away.
Yeah, I don't forgive celebrities or athletes with bad teeth. I don't understand. We don't have, they have access to this stuff, Like
Talking of someone with bad teeth or who got teeth fixed, Roman Reigns obviously came back when he re-debuted with his massive pearly whites.
But surely someone like Edge, they could just dye your beard or cut your beard, if you But anyway, I think Daniel Bryan added the match. The shake-up is he's winning. That's what I think. I think for whatever reason, we've said this on both the Fastlane and the Chamber predictions, that the feud between Reigns and Edge just died. Like it just kept getting further and further away from this dream big match that they wanted it to be, and we are where we're at. Daniel Bryan did a phenomenal job obviously at the Chamber. Did a phenomenal job at Fastlane too. Wrestling, I think to be fair, one of the longest main events actually of the past kind of 5 years. It was about a 35-minute match, which is quite long even by WWE standards, even for WrestleMania to be fair. I'm sorry, I'm just going through. Is there anything? The second pick would be Roman. Like I just don't see Edge winning now. And if it is going to close night 2 as well, it is essentially the main event.
That's the thing. It's the closing that confuses me.
Yeah, and I can't think of another match from this night that would go last instead. I think they might. I don't think they have enough kind of clout to kind of put Asuka's match on last here, because Ripley's still an unknown in terms of.
I don't think they're going to have 2 nights with neither of the Rumble winners main event in there.
I would be really up for Apollo and Big E being the main event, but it's probably not. It's never going to be that case of the IC Championship getting above the World Championship, and there's no like Rock and Cena level match. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing like that to kind of eclipse it. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with you, Scott, and I'm gonna say Daniel Bryan is winning. He'll pin Edge most likely, and I'm down for an Edge and Daniel Bryan feud after this. To be fair, I think that's something.
Yeah, there's something there, isn't there?
There is. I mean, I've mentioned this last time, I think, with you guys. I said, and the thing they obviously now with Edge being villain, they can't go the way I thought it could go. But Daniel Bryan's villain work here could be amazing if Edge was to win as a face. Because Daniel Bryan could literally be like, I was Edge. I was Edge, and I came back and wasn't handed the Royal Rumble match win. I wasn't handed the World Championship match at WrestleMania. They could easily turn this into a heel. I love all the memes online, especially you appreciated this one as well, Lucas, being on the RN Screen One, but the Godzilla versus Kong one. Yeah,
versus Daniel Bryan as well. Just throwing him into all these classic matches.
Is that one of those film thingy majigs?
That's a film, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh right. Okay. Cheers.
But yeah, Daniel Bryan's my pick. Rob, what do you think?
Daniel Bryan, baby. It's happening. It's happening. I don't. Literally, this is my thinking. Daniel Bryan is winning. He's going to pin Edge, right? Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, Money in the Bank, are going to have their match. How about Edge winning the Money in the Bank and then wanting to cash it in on Daniel Bryan?
It would be nice to bring that opportunist kind of.
It's got to happen. That's the perfect ending to this whole feud. Daniel
you see,
Bryan
Rob,
moment.
my thing was the other way around. You see, my thing was that
Oh, wow.
Edge wins at Mania as a face. That's the thing, but now he's turned as a face.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan wins Money in the Bank and then cash in on Edge straight afterwards. Because the Edge's part-time deal, that gets him out of the way for a little while. And again, it's that whole thing like Edge around Money in the Bank is a good thing, I think. That's a better fit for him than the Rumble was. He was never the Rumble guy. Like when you think of Rumbles, you don't, fair enough, he did win one, but he won one in the era where every main event just won one. They went Edge, you have it this year, Orton, you have it this year, Cena, you have it this year. And but it was never like, if it's like Kane with the most eliminations record, and stuff like that. And people like Shawn Michaels again having the most total eliminations. He was just a guy who did a Rumble a couple of times. Do you know what I mean? The same as anyone else. So Money in the Bank, he is so integral to that cash in.
Exactly.
You think of him so much with that briefcase and that cash in, what he did against the
Undertaker. He could be the first man to win the WWE World Heavyweight and Universal Championships as a Money in the Bank winner as well.
I just think that it's so much more suited. Daniel Bryan gets his moment. Roman takes the Edge needs to take the pin, so Roman doesn't look weak in this match, right? Edge will take the pin. That will just reignite this feud even more, and just it's extra fuel to the fire.
And it's a chance to have, if you do have Daniel Bryan, the one that turns more in the heel role, like Lucas was saying, basically being, well, it's true. You've been handed this when I come back. I didn't get handed like that,
Exactly.
And then also being like, well, you made a career out of cash-ins, Edge. What's your problem? You know what I mean? Like, it's another example where you can have the heel be right, and it annoys you that much more.
Like CM Punk second cash.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just to be honest, I see Edge winning the Money in the Bank, because if he's already said and stated he will do anything to get his hands on a title that he never lost. That title is rightfully his, and that's what he's
don't exist.
Well, yeah, but do you know what I mean? Like, if he wants to be champion that bad, he'll go to Money in the Bank, and he'll win Money in the Bank. Like, I just think that's the storytell ending, and then I mean, technically, you could get the double turn with literally Daniel coming out on Friday's Night Smackdown and saying, "I earned it. You were given it." Flips them both over. Edge then becomes a face. Daniel Bryan becoming a heel in the story. And then you get the Edge cash in, and then Edge gets the big pop at the end. I think that just makes more sense than what they were doing in the first place.
So, right.
Boys.
This was one of these where I was like, yeah, I really want to go last for this one. But it's done nothing going last here. It's, I was so undecided about this. I'm like, even if they like split and one goes for one goes for another, one goes for another, I'm like, yeah, at least then I could kind of hear everyone's thoughts on different people winning. But I've only heard, oh, sorry, that's the old 5-0 from this end. So that's it, the soundtrack of London, guys.
Especially your part.
Yeah, especially my part, yeah. So, who do I go for? I am gonna go. So here's right. So I'll lay out my thinking first and foremost. So I think Daniel Bryan's been put in the match for a reason, obviously, and that is, I think, to shake things up. Obviously, it's been kind of publicized that Vince thinks Edge is looking old. So I think that rules Edge out of the equation altogether. I don't think Edge is winning. Now, if you'd have said to me after the Rumble, is Edge going to win? Then I would have probably said no, because I don't think he needs it. And I think he would want to put the younger guy over in Roman Reigns. I think Reigns has been doing such good work that I do feel as though it could be the time for him to, ironically, as a heel, get that big pop at WrestleMania, because I think the crowd will go absolutely crazy for him this time round. So obviously being the head of the table, doing that kind of head of the table gimmick, could it work? Who knows? But what? I nearly said it then. I nearly said the F word. Not Fiend, but
Fudge.
See, for me, it's literally a coin flip between Bryan and Roman. Either way, I think that I think if Roman loses the title, he's not taking the fall at all. I think the only way Roman this is so hard. And the thing is, this could literally be so because Scott and Rob, because you've both gone for Bryan, this could literally, if I go for someone different, this could literally be the points that win it for me. This could be the one that.
If you suddenly get all the way to the top, that will really annoy me. I'm falling out with Rob. If you come to the top, I mean, at least Lucas will make me laugh.
He's going to cash in.
Oh, right. So
I think you got that different to us, really, because otherwise we've agreed too much.
That's literally how close it is. I mean, I'm just. Part of me thinks Bryan. So my thoughts coming into it. So if I'd have gone first and not heard what anyone said, I would have gone Roman Reigns.
Go Roman.
Right? Hearing what everyone said, hearing what everyone has said, I think I'm still going to go Roman Reigns.
Okay.
That means one of
I'm locking in.
Good or bad?
Basically, Roman Reigns, I think, if he comes out of this WrestleMania with the Universal title, then honestly, I think it will be storyline-wise, I think it will be the best thing because the head of the table character has been so good. And, you know, I can't remember when exactly was it that he won it again? Was it around August time?
Maybe? Or
it was the one afterwards, Payback.
Yeah, so he won it around sort of September, August, September time. I'd like to see him challenge for that what's it called? The record of the longest reigning champion or longest reigning champion, as they will probably
Championship?
Probably about a week. But no, they'll probably go with like lineage of like world titles, so to speak. Yeah, so I think that's it. I think I'm locked in with Roman Reigns now. I think he's going to come out of it as champion. I think Bryan.
Set for you then.
So sorry.
We're all Daniel Bryan, all three of us set for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Bryan. I think is in the what? Sorry.
No one
said Edge. No. I think they're throwing Bryan in there as a red herring to make people think that he's going to win it, and then they're going to put it on.
Originally, but
I think it's a cruel red herring, though.
Oh, so sorry. I'm just looking up the longest reign. It's Brock Lesnar with 503 days.
That doesn't count. Yeah, but how many of them was he actually like on TV for? Probably about 12.
It counts.
It still counts.
He was champion for a day. See, the thing as well, you got to remember, Kane is going into the Hall of Fame, so you could have the old Team Hell No reunion. You could have the Uso. You could even have like Jay and Jimmy, obviously helping Roman or costing Roman potentially.
Christian was around as well. Christian could help Edge and then Team Hell No maybe, but to even the score. But who would help Edge at the moment if they did like that?
no one.
The steel chair. Well, we've seen obviously there is a bit of a WWE AEW crossover with Chris Jericho being on Stone Cold's podcast,
maybe he'll come out.
So it's possible. They could even have like just a random conquistador. It just could be anybody and say it's Christian. But yeah, so I think that is pretty much that for the predictions.
One thing actually, by their logic, it'll probably be Jeff Hardy. They might do that.
Maybe
up as an old mate, you know, like kind of like when Sting and the NWO were together.
Yeah. So as we say, it is all to play for. Who is going to take home this trophy? Is it going to remain where it is, or do I have the horrible task of delivering it to somebody else, just leaving it on their doorstep, socially distanced, of course, and just being like, you absolute beep.
I'll be getting footage of that video as well.
Yeah,
you need to.
Or what I could do is I'll just give it to one of these delivery companies that will just throw it and just say, yeah, we left it over like close to you, and it's like in a field probably 4
Give it to Yoda
4 miles.
and it'll never get delivered.
Yeah. True. You'll probably still try and claim something back on that, mate, to say it's get a free voucher out of them or something. But yeah, so there we go. It is so close at the top of the table. There's obviously 2 points in it. Obviously, ironically, Lucas being on 34, he's the only one on an even number. So there's still a chance that it could all end up totally level between. It could even be a 3-way tie. And I don't know how I'm going to split this trophy 3 ways. We've actually still not decided on if it does end up level, how we're going to decide it. I mean, we could even throw in a random prediction for the Andre Battle Royal that's on the pre-show.
I guess we'll see what's looking likely after the first night, and then on the build-up show for the second night, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, even if it's something like how many seconds is it going to take for Sheamus to bro kick Riddle's head off his shoulders?
Because who was on top for most consecutive pay-per-views? So
I mean, if you went alphabetical and it was me and Scott that were drawing, I mean, I'll take it, alphabetically.
Just go alphabetically overall, mate. That's me. Or if we can't decide, we'll just give it to Lucas as a.
Have the reverse.
Yeah, thanks for showing up, mate.
Yeah.
Opposite day.
Participation trophy. Yeah.
We'll get a nice wooden spoon made up for you. So yeah, there we have it. That is obviously, I guess, our WrestleMania 37 predictions, all finalized. Obviously, we've seen the table. Lucas on 34, me on 43, Scott and Rob both neck and neck at the top on 45 points. Who is going to come out of WrestleMania as the champion? Who is going to take the trophy? Who is going to go into 2021, the reigning, defending champion? There's only one way to find out, and that is to join us live on the WrestleMania not the prediction show, is it? No, it's the WrestleMania. It's the WrestleMania pre-show talk, whatever it is that we call it nowadays. It's the build-up. That's it. That's the word. The build-up to WrestleMania, and then that will obviously be followed by the hangover and the
in
a nutshell prediction reviews of the show. There we go. Sorry, it's getting the what?
Are you feeling all right, mate?
Nah, I am bloody knackered.
Thanks for those that have stuck with us.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for me as well. So I was obviously, if you have not seen it yet, I was up at 8 this morning doing the latest Smackdown thing as well. So, I've been.
Yeah, give that a watch. It's good.
Give that a watch. Obviously, you see what I'm like first thing in the morning, and now you're seeing what I'm like a bit later on. Probably, no change. So. Nah, to be fair, not really. So there we go. Anyway, there we have it, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks to you guys for sticking around so much. We apologize, obviously, if there were any technical issues throughout this. Obviously, there's not really too much we can do in a live setting, but obviously we will try and fix stuff where we can. So obviously, if you guys do see random stuff pop up on the screen, like random times that graphics will pop up, that is mainly because we are trying to fix a little issue that obviously you guys don't pick up. So anyway, that is everything from us today. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe to all of the channels. if you like other things as well, other than wrestling, there are other channels that you can subscribe to. Screen One, obviously. Lucas, you've got a thing over there. We've got football. We've got the RNFC channel. We've got Taste. We've got Tunes. And there is the main Rebellious Noise channel where you may see some outtakes from this. You may see little clips from this. Obviously, we'll still be putting some stuff up over there as well. So for now, I've been Dan. These have been Scott, Rob, Lucas. This has been the WrestleMania predictions. We will see you very soon. Take care. Thank you. Goodbye.
Trophy point. Trophy point.
It's mine, baby. Mine.
Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action.